Hi. As long as the trains run on time. Oh, new music's coming out tonight. New Drake. New Drake music. New Drake. Okay. Okay. What is there to do? What is there to do?
Anti-abortion or pro-life people and pro-abortion people are debating about what y'all are going to.
Even the framing here is insane. Obviously.
Anti-abortion or pro-life people and
Anti-abortion, she's right about that.
pro-abortion people are debating about what y'all are.
So anti or pro-abortion, that's not the policy position. But the left-wing liberals are too scared to say pro-choice and anti-choice. They say pro-life or pro-choice. The only policy decision is, are you pro-choice or anti-choice? Do you want to take the choice away and make it a big government authoritarian crackdown? Or do you want to give that choice to whoever, someone to make that choice with their doctor? Should they have the freedom to do that? But of course she says, are you pro-abortion or anti-abortion? Because, of course we're pro-abortion if you want someone to make a decision with their doctor.
We're going to do with the abortifacient drugs that some would say haven't been studied enough, especially among young people. They're over the counter. Biden loosened the restrictions on them. What will you do on that issue?
President Trump hasn't made a decision about that issue yet.
Study it more?
What he's asked me to do is study the safety study the safety signals. And I think that that's worth doing. During the Biden administration, the NIH did something that was inexcusable.
Now the White House is the biggest disseminator of disinformation in human history, of course.
1,000 people, children, had autism. Now it's 1 in 36. Think of that. 1 in 10,000. 1 in 10,000. Now it's 1 in 36. Who can believe that? There's something wrong. There's something wrong. And I think it's something.
If you think for even 5 seconds, you would know it's because the diagnosis criteria has become more expanded. We also know how to find autism more. We know how to approach it more often. More people are seeking out help. If they do have issues, they see more, the access to mental health care is expanded. That's why the numbers increased. It's not because, it was not real before and now it's real. It was always real. We just have ways to track it now.
1,000 people, children, had autism. Now it's 1 in 36. Think of that. 1 in.
Same clip, Why is the same clip posted right underneath it? I don't get that. State of emergency because of U.S. and Ukraine. True.
That are not. Will you investigate the? Will you?
For the Department of Education.
Will you investigate those universities that are not complying with Title IX, that are not complying with the president's executive order? These universities are absolutely getting federal funds from this department, the department that you're going to run if and when you are confirmed, and I believe you will be. Will you investigate those universities and give them an ultimatum? Either they need to comply with the law. Then
Nonsense. Is there more obesity now because we detected better? Are you stupid? Are you extremely dumb? Or is that a serious question?
they need to follow the law of Title IX. They need to follow the rules issued by this administration, your department, or no federal funding. I mean, will you make sure that the law is enforced?
Yes, we will make sure the law is enforced.
Very good. Let me ask you about...
The senator will suspend. The committee will come to order. Capitol Police are asked to remove the individual from the...
How dare they care about the kids, dude? We care about the money.
From the hearing room. Members of the audience are reminded that disruptions will not...
Okay, so, big brother, if you think for 5 seconds. All right. When we talk about autism, what I'm saying is true for the psychological and physiological standards for what is considered to be autism, how we treat that, okay? Because they expanded, there's more mental health care, there's more ways to detect issues, okay? Now, would this be the same for other issues or other disorders or diseases? No. You can use a different criteria. Could they map on similarly? Maybe. Will they? Maybe not. Maybe so. But autism versus obesity are two very, 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 very different things. Very different things. And you have to have nuance, or you don't have a brain. Very different things. We could have other factors for obesity rising, so like fast food consumption, American portion sizes, Americans having so much sodium and sugar in their foods. There is no comparison on that basis. If we expanded the criteria for what counts as obese, for example, then yeah, if we expanded the criteria, then the obesity rate would go even higher. And some countries have lower or higher obesity rates based on their standards.
Will not be permitted while the committee conducts its business. The senator will resume.
Don't worry, Ms. McMahon.
He said, proved you wrong, I guess. Are you a bot? I think it's a bot. It's an AI bot. It's an AI bot.
It's me, it's not you. That effect.
How are you going to fight China if you're going to be tough with India on trade? How are you going to beat China then?
We have no plans. We don't need any plans. We do not need one singular plan. Russia's very happy about Tulsi Gabbard. Russia's getting everything they want. My goodness. Now, okay. What Trump says here about Ukraine is insane on so many levels, so many extreme levels. It's another one of those things that are so anti-America, anti-human, anti-logic. It's crazy.
Do you see any future in which Ukraine returns to its pre-2014 borders?
Well, I think Pete said today that that's unlikely, right? It certainly would seem to be unlikely. They took a lot of land, and they fought for that land, and they lost a lot of.
Russia fought for that land. They lost a lot of people. They should be able to keep that land. That's not even Russian propaganda, bro. That's actively pro-Russian, pro-authoritarian language. That is pro all of these things. Pro. This is supporting everything Russia's done in their invasion of Ukraine. Talking like Russia has been attacked. He also said that...
but it would just seem to me, and I'm not making an opinion on it, but I've read a lot on it, and a lot of people think that that's unlikely.
And he also said it was a mistake for Ukraine to get into this war, bro.
Yeah, I believe that he would like to see something happen.
He says that he really wants peace. Do you believe him?
Yeah, I do. I believe he wants peace. I believe
Putin really wants peace. All Putin had to do was simply not invade and stop invading. Of course, Putin does not want peace. America wants to give Russia every single concession, everything Russia wants, give them the land, and extract resources from Ukraine. We are not even in a bad scenario. We are past the worst case scenario that we thought about with Trump getting in the White House. We imagine, like, okay, maybe Trump's going to pull funding or pull aid. We expected that. We did not expect Trump to take such an aggressively pro-Russian stance, but I guess we should have. We should have expected that because that's what Trump is. That's who Trump is funded by. That's who Trump talks to. We knew Trump was helped by Russia in 2016 to win, and also in 2020. Now, when we talk about what was proven in the investigations, it was proven that it was not proven that Russia and Trump campaigns worked together hand in hand, but it was proven, 100% undisputably proven, that Russia did work to try and get Trump elected. Whether or not that was on behalf of the Trump campaign, we could not prove the collusion there, but we know that Russia influenced the election on purpose to try and help Trump win.
I believe that President Putin, when I spoke to him yesterday, I mean, I know him very well. Yeah, I think he wants peace. I think he would tell me if he didn't. I'd like to see peace.
I think he would tell me if he didn't. Is he your best friend? Is he your little pal? Is Putin your little pet pal? Your little phone pal? Here we go, I guess.
Call
maybe.
from.
Hello?
Yes, hi. I'm here to debate. Yes, hi. I'm here to debate.
What's up? Yep, I can hear you. What's up? Can you hear me? Okay. Was that the Russian agent they sent to come debate me on Russia? I swear to God, if he calls in about Russia, I know he's a bot sent by Russia. If he wants to talk about Russia specifically, I bet. Cool. Man, crazy stuff, brother.
So 8 hours ago, Dropsite News breaks this bombshell story that Elon Musk and Tesla is receiving a So 8 hours ago, Dropsite News breaks this bombshell story that Elon...
Oh my God.
Call from.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can hear me all right through the Google Voice, right? Through your phone?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. What's up?
Not much, man. How about you?
Just hanging out. What do you want to chat about?
Just the fact that you are mentally unstable.
All right, make your argument. Well, that was a big own, bro. Okay, that's what happens when you're very weak and pathetic and you have nothing to really stand on. You got to come in and do that. It shows your intellectual inferiority. And I want someone to call in who actually has a brain. That'd be really fun. So if you want to call in, feel free. Own the liberals yet again by making zero arguments. Woohoo! We did it, guys!
Elon Musk and Tesla is receiving a $400 million contract from the State Department for armored EVs. 8 hours ago would have been approximately noon Pacific time, and the timeline here is important, and I'll get back to this in a second. Meanwhile, Ryan Grimm of Dropsite News instructs us to go directly to the State Department website to check the spreadsheet, which I then did. Here's that spreadsheet, $400 million contract. But when I go over to the description, it just says...
What a beautiful night. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for watching. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Joel?
Nothing much, are you?
I'm good. I heard you want somebody who can actually have a conversation.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so I think by and large I agree with you. This might be a little challenging. but
Okay.
I think I can do my best to make a weak argument for Doge.
A weak argument for Doge. So are you anti-Doge or pro-Doge, or are you like in the middle?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the middle, but like I'm leaning anti. It's kind of been consuming way too much of my time lately because I am pretty involved in the federal government right now, like as an employee. And honestly, like I'm a big fanboy of Musk, right? I'm a Tesla investor. I own a Tesla. I've been watching his Neuralink projects and a lot of other stuff for years. And so generally, I'm a pretty big supporter of his. You know, I usually point people to Walter Isaacson's biography on him. It's just called Musk because he had all access for a few years. And yeah, it's just some pretty interesting stories in there. But yeah, from everything I'm reading, I think Fed News. Have you been on that subreddit?
Yeah, I see a decent amount from it.
Yeah, that this seems to be like the central hub on the internet of breaking news from the inside, and yeah, it's just absolute chaos. And I don't see that as an effective way to actually reduce the deficit. Like
Also,
I
another
support-
huge point too. Like there's a couple local, let's say there's local towns that get federal grants, and they already signed on to paying for something. And federal grants go all over the country. They're awarded for different purposes. I know some towns who already signed a deal for like a development, like a playground or something, and now they have to take out a really high interest bank loan because the federal grants have been paused randomly. To help just like kids with accessible playgrounds or like school buildings and stuff like that. A lot of school districts and cities and boroughs and townships or whatever that got federal grants and already signed, on the contract, and now they're taking out like private loans with banks. And that's actually that's the kind of system they want. At the end of all this, they're trying to slowly kill the federal government off. That's the explicit plan that they have like in their plan of action. They want to kill the federal government as much as possible, as quick as possible, but not too fast to get massive pushback, but they're still trying to get rid of it.
Are you referencing Project 2025 or anything in specific?
Yeah, so 2025, but also what's his name? Curtis Yarvin, Elon Musk, Computer Teal's favorite anti-democratic philosopher. JD Vance likes him a lot. And also like Russell Vought. He also worked on Project 2025,
Yeah.
but the Office
Russell
of
Vought, I'm
Management and
tracking.
Budget.
Okay.
So yeah, so the OMB director Vought also believes we need to kill the federal government. They're anti-government. They want the government to be fully privatized. That's the end goal.
I hadn't seen it stated so explicitly, but yeah, Vought is clearly if you ever seen The Boys, right? Pretty villainous.
I think Pete Hegseth looks like someone from The Boys. Pete Hegseth looks like an extra from The Boys, I feel like. And the way Pete Hegseth dresses too is like cartoony. He wears that dumb blue suit. And the hairstyle
Here's
too.
where I'm trying to hunt some good stuff, right? So like let me try and say like what I'm hoping comes out of Doge, right? Because yeah, I think there's a lot of common ground with what we think is like chaos and it doing harm at like state, local, and federal levels. But what I'm hoping comes out of it is meaningful change to the way government structures contracts, right? So if you look at programs like the F-35 development, right, we spent trillions of dollars. If you look at, a rocket program before SpaceX, right, the United Launch Alliance with Lockheed and Boeing, we were spending hundreds of billions of dollars over decades, and we were relying on the Russians to send our astronauts to the International Space Station, right? So outside of relying on innovators and venture capital in the U.S. to like take on these behemoths in the defense sector to actually, do right by the American taxpayer, I'd love to see, a change in requirements for how they structure these contracts so that I'm not an expert, but my understanding is like Lockheed with the F-35s, they get paid entirely for the maintenance of the aircraft. So there's no incentive to make them, durable because they're just going to make more money if they fall to pieces, kind of an idea. I'm hoping that there's some change in that in a meaningful way so that companies are incentivized, but not to leech off the government for decades.
Well, Elon Musk got the FAA director removed because he was trying to regulate Elon Musk's unsafe rocket launches that were he was really pushing the limit when it comes to restricted airspace, and also not maintaining when there's explosions, not having a good plan in place for maintaining safety and following regulations. So Musk is anti-regulation in general. And I will say DOGE so far, the people working for DOGE are a bunch of like random kids who have really bad histories with cybersecurity leaking. And they're hackers. They brought in zero, forensic auditors or whatever you might want to bring into a program like this. They've been installing private servers in government agencies. They've been hiring private security to lock employees out of these agencies and probably stealing information. They lied and said they only had read access. They did not have read access. They also had writing access as well. We don't know what they changed in these systems. Musk was just turning stuff on and off randomly, while at the same time he made like $700 million. He won $700 million in the past 2 days in contracts for SpaceX and also for Tesla. DOGE has not released literally one thing yet at all. Like, they have not said literally one thing. They have not said one finding. They have not been transparent. Some Democrats have tried working with them. They have rejected any work with Democrats. But yeah, no transparency. They have not released one thing. And Musk on Twitter every day is just spreading complete lies. He's lying to an extent where someone that's as smart as he is, he's lying on purpose to make power grabs. Because he knows, for example, there's a really big one that came out today. Let me find him. So Elon Musk, a big one he put out today was about deception, about the government giving Reuters money for a social engineering program. And I put it on the screen. And the tweet from Musk says, Reuters was paid millions of dollars by the U.S. government for large-scale social deception. That is literally what it says on the purchase order. They're just a total scam. Just wow. Okay, him talking like this, he's trying to sound stupid to appeal to a broad demographic, number one. And number two, you look at the purchase order. This was from the Trump administration. In 2018, the Trump administration paid Reuters to do investigating and also studying into how to detect and prevent social engineering in the U.S. It was for security. So Reuters got money from the Trump administration to help protect America from social deception. And Elon Musk, again, says Reuters was paid millions of dollars by the U.S. government for large-scale social deception. That is literally what it says on the purchase order. They're a total scam. Just wow. This is manipulator language. This is liar language. He's smart. He knows. You could look in the screenshot he shared, but he is trusting. And this is from usaspending.gov, which is always public, has always been public. But now DOGE, whatever, they're branding. They're sharing this page around, usaspending.gov. That's always been there. We could have seen this like in the past whatever number of years. They're acting like it's new information. This is what he's been doing the past few weeks. He's been lying his ass off about everything. He lied about the 50 billion condoms being sent to Gaza. He admitted he lied about that. Yeah. The White House is still carrying that lie. But yeah, he does this on purpose. He's lying to get more power in the government.
Hold up. On the $50 million condom story. So, if I'm trying to make the argument against you, I have to at least defend him. When he was confronted by reporters in the Oval Office about that being a falsehood, he admitted that he was likely incorrect on that statement, right? So I'm not saying that justifies him spreading falsehoods on Twitter in the first place.
Again, he released that like 2 weeks ago.
He doesn't know.
No, he doesn't, though. He does not admit it. So two weeks ago when this came out, $50 million, it was debunked instantly. Okay, it was $50 million. Then the White House doubled it, said it was $100 million. Then Trump said it's because they're sending, DOGE found they're sending balloons to Hamas, condoms to Hamas to make balloon bombs.
Right. That was
and Trump doubled it. And then said that. And DOGE also pushed this lie, let it sit for 2 or 3 weeks. He knew it was fake. He pushed it on purpose because it was fake. The only reason he admit in person there is because this is why, by the way, this is why authoritarians always kill the media, or like they block out all media that's not going to be like loyalist state media, because once they're confronted in person with these dumbass lies, it's really hard to lie about. So you need to be like, yeah, I might have been wrong about that one. Finally, in person. Then he went right back to sharing this the same day. The same day he shares this. This is not enough to be mistaken. If you're a 12-year-old, you can read this and see what it's about. He is lying to people. He's selling this image of like government efficiency. Well, he is getting sensitive information. We don't know where that information is being sent. He's probably using it to train a language model. We have no idea. There's no way to have any transparency. But more than likely, he just met with India today. He met with India today, and he's trying to get Tesla sold in India and more deals with India. This is 100% a Trojan horse by the richest man in the world to infiltrate the U.S. government. And I wish Americans would see it for that. But I hear a lot of people saying like, and you can tell me what you think about this argument or respond to the other stuff. They say Elon Musk is already worth so much money, dude. He doesn't need any more money. He's doing this because he really cares about us.
That one's tricky. I mean, I do. I mean, I don't know him, right? Like I thought the biography is the best assessment of his state of mind, at least as of 2 years ago, right? And I think genuinely, like with many immigrants to this country, right, he identifies with some American values and he has a sense of patriotism. And I think that contributes to some of his efforts, right? So I don't think it's entirely greed driving this.
Now, do you think it's possible?
Effort, but I will say, I'm sure he's not going to complain about becoming the first trillionaire.
But do you think it's possible that he is propagandizing like every corrupt leader does, and he's selling a book like that on purpose to create a facade of who he really is? Do you know that Elon Musk's grandfather, his name was Joshua Haldeman, a Canadian chiropractor, amateur archaeologist. He was a known neo-Nazi. He got arrested for it. And he wrote a book. He believed in technocracy. In the 1930s, this movement came. So his grandfather believed in technocracy. He was a neo-Nazi. So technocracy is that the world should be governed by the rich autocrats, the techno-monarchs, they called them. Techno-monarchs. So that's different from even technocrat. Yeah, techno-monarchs is scary. That's like a dictatorship. I would recommend looking up Curtis Yarvin. Curtis Yarvin Democracy. He talks about it a lot. Peter Thiel follows Curtis Yarvin. Elon Musk follows Curtis Yarvin. They believe in a post-democratic world. They believe democracy has run its course and they cannot trust democracy anymore. They want to move towards corporation states where we take the U.S. and all the other countries, divvy them up between different really rich people, and they compete with each other like businesses instead. And they're going to be like CEOs, like the tech monarchs, like I said. So Elon Musk's foundational ideology is grounded in this belief that democracy is futile. We need to go through a more authoritarian system, and we need like surveillance systems to watch Americans, similar to what they have in China.
Has he put his name on any sort of papers or theses, or is he just subscribing to the philosopher you referenced?
I would say subscribing to that ideology is more than enough, especially when he's pushing eugenics on his Twitter page constantly. And like I'm 100% sure he did the intentional Nazi salute. You'll probably disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I also, it's really hard to say because, I mean, maybe not about that instance in particular. It was not a good look, obviously, but I think he is a good example of somebody with nearly unlimited resources that likely is surrounded by people that do not tell him no, right? And so historically, that is a recipe for warping somebody's sense of reality, right? And I worry that he could be going down the same road as Kanye, right? Who just got his site pulled, right, for selling that swastika T-shirt. So I don't know.
I'm sorry. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I just noticed he has the tweet about the Reuters thing pinned as his top tweet, and 30 million people saw it. Oh,
well, sure, man. He's got the whole U.S. population subscribed to him.
He's lying on purpose, though. It's so damaging. He's lying on purpose, and people are gonna call into my show believing this tonight. I guarantee you. Oh.
I mean, probably, but so I'm interested in the companies, right? So let me make a case pro corruption, right? So even if he's blatantly lobbying on behalf of his company's business interests, and maybe he doesn't even need to because of all the Trump loyalists that are being installed all over the government, right? Why are Tesla and SpaceX becoming successful companies problematic for the American people?
It's not that. It's that Elon Musk is cutting every single regulatory agency that's been investigating his companies. Like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
I hear that.
The issue is that the corrupt people in society are removing the anti-corruption police, and we need referees in an economic system for it to be stable. And also to maintain freedom and democracy, we need refs. We need refs in the system. We need a rule book that people go by at least enough, and people to hold them accountable. The White House said Elon Musk is going to be determining his own conflicts of interest. That's that's so corrupt. Like, to get that much money, by the way, you need to be a very, very power hungry person in general. Like, he's not going to stop. It's like saying that like an alcoholic's not going to drink more, or a heroin addict's not going to use more heroin.
I struggle with that, man. I don't know. I don't know how true the stories are, but my understanding was SpaceX and Tesla were not launched out of a profit-seeking motive. It was like, if you read the initial business plan for Tesla, it seemed fairly altruistic. And one of the reasons I was such a fanboy of his for so long was I genuinely saw Tesla as the only reason global auto manufacturers made a meaningful step towards research and development in the electric vehicle space.
SpaceX was made for profit. And I also would say when they have the social justice veneer, or they have a veneer of all this, like, they're going to be good for the planet, they're doing that because they want extreme funding from the government. So they're going to play that game. Just like Zuckerberg and Bezos, all of them change with whatever the administration is because they want to curry favor with whoever's in power to get favors from them.
Well, I don't disagree with that on the business side, but I don't see how that, I guess this is my thought, right? So in my mind, Tesla's products, both software and hardware, are very good for America, right? If Tesla steamrolls regulators like NHTSA that could slow down it bringing software features to its customers, allowing further autonomy on roadways, right? Why is that a bad thing?
It's nothing about the company. It's about the richest man in the world seizing the power of the federal government and being the de facto president, and the lack of any regulators or any power structure. Once you bypass like the normal checks and balances of your system, that always degrades into a really authoritarian government. It doesn't matter if you like the guy or not. This could be Jesus himself, and we can go to a very authoritarian place if the government is going to degrade. To the point where Musk is saying it's like it should be illegal to go after, it should be illegal to bypass the Constitution, which is something he's been saying. And the way Musk is manipulating people, and he's been tweeting, by the way, he tweets an average of 300 times a day. He's tweeting 300 times a day, and he wants you to believe he's CEO of all these companies. He's tweeting 300 times a day. I would just be worried to give him the credit for this stuff. If you look into his history, his actual financial history, he has not invented much. He has purchased a lot of different entities. He has hired a lot of really great, engineers and scientists, but he himself has not been an inventor. He is not responsible for these companies. You could say he's a good CEO or he's a good marketer. But I hear people like Joe Rogan say like, oh, he's the genius. He's here to help the human race, etc. But it's very clear, like he's involved in more foreign policy conversations than Donald Trump is, and he's trying to take away our bureaucracy, which I strongly defend our bureaucracy. Because in terms of corruption at the federal government level, the reason we have a bureaucracy like we do right now came after like Watergate and Nixon, because bureaucracy is inherently anti-corruption. And I can explain that further if you'd like, but he's going after deep state bureaucrats. That's probably my least favorite thing about Musk, because the federal government employees, especially in all these agencies, they come from, we could go into a little bit more, but they come from Reagan, Trump, Bush, Obama, Biden. They come from everywhere. That's why bureaucracy works so well.
It's supposed to be inherently nonpartisan, and I recognize that. So I'll say, to reinforce your points, CFPB burning to the ground, right? I have a huge issue with that. From a checks and balances perspective, some of these regulatory agencies, from my perspective, do nothing but good, right? CFPB to me had an incredible track record, did a lot of good for the American people. I'm upset about that.
So the checks and balances, it's good, and also Congress to get rid of it. Congress should be passing a law if you want to get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say that like I like the why behind DOGE, right? I'm very supportive of the motivation, the thought process. I like the urgency of action. I just wish almost all of it was occurring in Congress as opposed to the executive. Because from my perspective, I think a lot of the courts are going to overrule and overturn, and I think probably pretty explicitly the executive expects that and is just hoping to drag out that fight as long as possible. So, federal employees that they can't afford to wait for the unions to win some of these fights, right? They're just
they want to choke out these agencies and force them to die. And also they're cutting off the USAID, with unilaterally has stranded Americans in places like the Congo where they are having issues escaping. I would also like to say that the Government Accountability Office releases reports of pretty hefty government waste already. And Elon Musk and DOGE have not released any reports. They have not done anything. They've lied about things. They've just pulled public information from the USAspending.gov and released that information and pretended like, hey, look, I found something. But it's really just rage bait, where it's like, we funded a trans opera with USAID and our cultural initiatives, which you can debate that and say, okay, we don't need that, but you should be doing that through Congress. That's the point of checks and balances. If like Elon Musk is acting right now, like him as a private citizen or a special government employee, because that's like the new term they like to use. But him as a special government employee, he is acting right now with more power than any president has had in American history. Him himself being not elected, not even confirmed by the Senate, not even confirmed by the Senate, not even appointed by someone confirmed by the Senate. But I would just say for the last thing, we have ways to look at the waste in government. We have ways to look through these things. What Musk is doing, like I said, there's zero recommendations. They're just trying to cut programs like they want to cut Medicaid, for example. Republicans in their budget, they want to cut Medicaid, and they want to hyper target certain parts of the system so they can pass another tax cut for the ultra wealthy.
Yeah, I have a huge issue with that too, right? So, like, to me, there's no point because I'm sure you saw the early draft bill for the budget released out the House, right? To me, there's no point in pursuing these aggressive deficit reductions if the goal is to offset $3 trillion, right, from extending the Trump tax cut. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I completely agree with you. GAO and IG had these, white papers, had these recommendations for years, and they could and should have been the first thing action instead of firing those people, right? But here's where I'll challenge you. There is historical precedent for people in roles like Musk's, right? So my understanding is Henry Ford and other people in positions similar to his helped during World War II, right? The administration, where they were basically brought in, and I think the government even actually took over the means of production from private companies during the warfighting effort, and actually would put some of these capitalists in charge of those operations. So from my understanding, it's not entirely unprecedented. I understand people's discomfort with it.
Well, they already have every administration has, for example, like a big bank board member that comes in and does like the treasury or something, but they're usually trusted. They're usually confirmed. It's usually not just like a loyalist. But the entire another thing as well, just stealing information. Trump or Elon Musk just announcing. Well, I mean, they have 0 cases of fraud. They ask Musk about fraud, and they say, well, we saw some government employees, and they had really high net worths of like $10 million. And I'm like, how did they get that? It's such a dumb point. Like they're literally just trying to make people mad. I understand like liking Musk, but I'm saying like I think you can have a respect for someone who might be powerful and who might know how to wield power and might know how to accumulate massive amounts of wealth and be like a fantastic entrepreneur. You can respect that person while also being afraid of them and also realizing this person has like negative incentives, regardless of what you think about them. He's like an entity. He's like a corporation within himself. He's acting amorally. He doesn't really care about anything except getting more capital, more power. And now that it's integrating with the U.S. government, the strongest government in the world, and the fact he has so many contracts with the Communist Party of China, Tesla has reinstated or reinforced China's socialist values. They do data sharing with China.
We're making some leaps there, Jonah. We're making some leaps.
That's not it's a Tesla official statement about China.
Sure, but that's not coming from Musk, right?
It is. Musk is the one meeting with China to move Tesla there and make more business relations. Musk literally got in the budget resolution 2 months ago. Musk tweeted about it, got it paused, and got a provision removed that would have restricted American citizens from Chinese investments because it would have affected him. Like Musk is very pro-China, and Vivek Ramaswamy, by the way, came after him for this. When Vivek was running for president in 2023 or 2024, he came after Musk for being a mouthpiece of China.
Interesting. I did not catch
before
that.
He sold out.
Okay, so I need to do more reading. I haven't seen anything from this administration. But here, I want to challenge you because you're well researched. You know your material. What possible good, right, could you see come out of this administration and the efforts of DOGE? What would you like to see?
I would like to see the American people actually understand how government works, because right now they're seizing on the idea and it's a fact that American people will believe anything. They think Americans are dumb and Americans are proving them right. I don't think Americans are dumb. They're just being lied to. And I think Democrats need to message better. But I'm hoping at the end of this, people realize what government does so well, all the stability that they take for granted as they see it fall apart. I hope they are, able to see the government's a hard thing to do. We pull it off pretty well as a human civilization. We have done really, 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 really well. We're at the peak of humanity right now in 2025, but people want to complain about literally everything. So I'm hoping out of this entire thing, we realize we have to be engaged. USA, the fact that no one knows that USAspending.gov exists, but they want to talk about government waste the past 15 years, and they never even looked at that website, and now they can bring up random shit from their website and just like make up conspiracies about it, and anyone will believe it. I hope the American people grow their own freaking brains and get independent thought, and we can rebuild our republic and care about our constitution and care about American freedoms. But as far as Elon Musk goes, he is 100%. It's a quiet coup of the U.S. government. I'm like, you could read any statement from any of these people. They're working in 2025 or working in the Trump administration. They are loyalists. They want to overturn the government and give it to private industries and give it to their friends. They're following the Russia model. They're following the Hungary model. J.D. Vance literally shouted out Hungary and Viktor Orban the entire campaign trail. J.D. Vance said he's a huge inspiration. The least free country in the European Union. The least free country in the European Union. J.D. Vance wants to model our government off of. And that's really, 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 really scary, whether you like them or not. Like they want to move us to an authoritarian direction. And Musk is calling for judges to be attacked now on Twitter. It's so, oh yeah, this lie as well. Elon Musk is sharing the salaries of Congress people. Where did all this money come from? It's just incorrect amounts. There's one with saying that AOC is worth $40 million when she's actually worth like $50,000. Go down his thing.
Okay, wait, hold on. Pause on that. So, my understanding is those numbers, I agree, are often grossly inflated, but are coming directly from government financial disclosure forms.
No, he's lying. He's just lying. He's sharing tweet posts. He's sharing Twitter posts. AOC's actual financial disclosures. You can see she has a ton of student loan debt. She has no other money-making ventures other than being member of Congress. She's worth like $50,000 to $100,000. At the most, $150,000. The fact that he would share something saying that she makes $40 million is insane. And he also said that Bernie Sanders is corrupt. Elon Musk said Bernie Sanders is corrupt and taking big pharma money. Elon Musk said Bernie Sanders is taking big pharma money. He's corrupt. He's a pathological liar who wants power in the U.S. But I'm just saying, like, this is what it looks. This is when you're thinking about like authoritarian governments. I know everyone's going to say you're overreacting, but this is how it always feels. It feels surreal. It feels like I thought I knew these people. I thought I liked these leaders, and then they take these huge power grabs, and we're okay with it because we never push back hard enough. And I'll just say we don't have this big thing right now. But as we move into the next few years, I hope as we see them do more and more authoritarian crackdowns about DEI, blaming cultural Marxism for everything, just like Hitler blamed cultural Bolshevism and the Jewish conspiracy. As they keep on going further in this authoritarian direction, I need all Americans who care about freedoms, liberty, and justice in our Constitution to stand up against this as strong as possible, because it's our only chance to stay away from an authoritarian future.
I still want to push you to I think I heard pretty clearly what you hope the outcome of this failed experiment will be, right? But I'm curious if you can envision this experiment being a success in even the smallest way, right? Red team your own ideas. What good could you see coming out of this chaos directly from the actions of this administration?
From the actions, nothing good is going to come from what they want to do, because everything they want to do is bad. So if they're not successful, I'll be happy. But I mean, I've talked to a lot of people about Doge, and not one of them has brought up something true to me. It's all been complete lies. Even the Politico funding stuff they were sharing about USAID was just like false. And Republicans do some of the things they're complaining about Democrats. It's just,
let me give you a point.
I just hope the American people push back against this.
Okay, I find it a little. If I'm capable of admitting, hey, I don't know enough about this. Hey, I'm mistaken, right? My hope is that you can find something, being as well researched you are, that you think there's a slim chance of a silver lining coming out of. But my I'd say a direct point that I'm personally hoping comes out of this administration, because there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of stuff I'm concerned about, is federal employees. And I do think it's a minority of them that were exploiting benefits or advantage. Like, I personally have a few people that I know that are at CISA, right, under DHS. And I have some familiarity with the cybersecurity space. I consider that an incredibly important organization. And these individuals, they are government employees, they're not contractors, were very vocal about how little they are utilized, right? They seemed almost proud about their ability to do almost nothing in their 9-to-5 job. And personally, I found that embarrassing and frustrating, right? I can't imagine going into a work where I feel useless and then going and sharing stories about it with other people I encounter. And so for better or worse, because you're right, the administration has stated they want to traumatize federal employees, right? I hope for the people that fit that description, they are coming into work with a very different attitude. And it's one of, if they're not being properly utilized, they're at least telling their leadership that they need to be reallocated or they need to be given something meaningful, or even better yet, they go seek that out for themselves, right? So that's my example. Some
I mean,
sort of good I'm trying to come out
this
of
is what I would say to that. We live in 2025. Like I said, Elon Musk is tweeting 300 times a day, and he's supposedly the CEO of all these huge companies, defense contractor, satellite, internet, some surveillance technologies, Neuralink, brain chips, Tesla, and he's tweeting through. And that's what I'm saying, though. I'm okay with having government employees that don't do that much. They're there for stability. They're there because they're trusted. Is there going to be some jobs in a system that are not 100% needed at that time? Yeah, and that's completely fine. That's how things always exist. And we want a future where people feel like they're not working that much. We want a future where things are automated to the point where we're like, okay, well, it's pretty chill. I can work 10 to 15 hours a week at my best capacity, and then I can move on and do other stuff. Like, there's a lot of office jobs where, like, for example, I can be hired because I'm really good at policy, and I'm very well, they can trust me and trust my emotional regulation. Meanwhile, someone else that cannot hold their tongue, even, they don't have enough discipline. I can work 5 hours a week for some jobs and be more effective than someone putting 80 hours in. It really depends what it is, how it is, and how you adjust it. But like right now, I'm just saying they're probably doing ideological purges of the government. I need you to understand, like, this is more similar to what you see in Russia before they became a dictatorship, or in Mussolini's Italy. Mussolini complained about the bureaucracy. It's one of his biggest enemies. Like we're seeing ideological purges. So as they're collecting information from the IRS, every American's tax information, their addresses, they're pulling data from like public donations to candidates. They are going to be doing ideological purges. They're already doing that by saying you can't say pronouns in your bio. That's illegal now at the federal government. You can't say DEI or equality. Even like colleges and private institutions are now being legally pressured to not say something about diversity and not talk about the not even talk about the civil rights movement. We're not even allowed to do that now in a lot of companies without threat of being persecuted from the government. We are having an authoritarian crackdown. I just need people to understand that there's no silver lining when you have a full authoritarian breakdown and democratic backsliding in the U.S., where it's like, okay, well, it was worth it because we got rid of a couple of government lazy employees. Like, that's going to exist. But I'm just saying we need to keep our eye on the ball on what really matters to like a fundamental Western democracy surviving, I feel like. I don't disagree with you, by the way. Like there is some like issues, but that should be done through Congress, obviously. Like we're bypassing checks and balances right now. Like if we bypass checks and balances, and if JD Vance suggested to disobey the courts, Elon Musk said to disobey the courts. Donald Trump said, I don't know we're doing it, because Donald Trump is like, he's a walking puppet.
Is ignoring the judiciary.
But if they ignore the Supreme Court on something. If they ignore the Supreme Court, or if the Supreme Court knows they're going to ignore it, that can influence the justices' decisions, because it might be embarrassing if they make a ruling and then the White House does not follow it. So we might have, it's like regular judicial capture or something, or regulatory capture, whatever you want to call it, from the executive branch threatening people. They're throwing out random lawsuits. Eric Adams in New York City was involved in a corruption bribe lawsuit, they just dropped it and literally said it was a quid pro quo. There's judges that Trump appointed 3 weeks ago resigning now. Judges from that worked with Scalia, people from the Reagan Bush administration who are resigning now because of these insane legal rulings that Trump administration is doing. This is the biggest authoritarian grab. In U.S. history, and J.D. Vance, like I said, they said the courts should not restrict any executive power. It's like, no, that's the point of judicial review. Like, that's the point of it. We say, okay, this is not constitutional. That is literally the role of the courts.
Well, here's an extension of this, right? You're clearly identifying, from your perspective, a constitutional crisis. I'm not convinced we're there yet, but we'll ask this, right? We have. And I feel an incredibly resilient, durable bedrock that the founders put in place, right? It's being tested in a way it's never been tested before. Do you think our systems of government will survive this administration's efforts?
No, I think they're going to have to become something new. We're fighting for a new social contract. You have to even just like think about the cabinet nominees. Before in American history, there has not been one person in a confirmation hearing or in like when they're having their regular hearings to like talk to the senators or whatever. Usually, if you ask a question, for example, like if the president gives you an order that's unconstitutional or illegal, will you follow it? And the person says, nope, I put the Constitution above the president.
Yeah.
But this is the first time someone said or refused to say they put the Constitution first. Seven of his appointees said they ignored the question completely, or they essentially said, well, whatever Trump tells me is going to be constitutional, or like Trump will never give an unconstitutional order, or like we have to focus on the issues ahead of us. Like they refused to say they put not even for like a propaganda purpose, because they could just like lie, even if that's their intent, but they publicly said we would not put the Constitution first over President Trump. We are having severe democratic backsliding. The executive branch is huge because once they have the FBI, Homeland Security, they have national intelligence in the hands of someone who has been with Assad, literal foreign agent, even identified by the Republican Party years ago as a foreign agent, and Democrats. It was a bipartisan issue that Tulsi Gabbard worked for foreign governments.
Tulsi Gabbard?
Yes, it was bipartisan consensus that she worked for foreign governments, and she still does. Russia state television, Russian state TV is celebrating that she has been appointed toward national intelligence. There's not even describing how cooked we are. We have Pete Hegseth, who's a raging drunk, and who is literally a Christian, a Christian white nationalist. Ahead of our Secretary of, and that's not even overblown at all. He's literally a white nationalist. He's a Christian white nationalist. Explicitly, he has described himself as that, and there's a lot of writing as well that shows that he follows those beliefs. We are so cooked, it's hard to even explain how bad.
So what is your game plan, given that you feel this is a constitutional crisis and our systems of governance will not survive? Well, you know, I know people that are leaving the country. Are you anticipating leaving the U.S.?
Well, the idea is hopefully the American people wake up eventually. I'm not super confident. But you know, we're just seeing what happens. I wish I could go to Canada. I don't have the financial means to do that, but I wish I can go to Canada. That'd be really cool. Canada's freedoms, like if you look at like the global freedom index, Canada's is like 30 points higher than ours. People are so happy in Canada. The life expectancy in Canada is like 9 years higher than the U.S. because of their healthcare, and also just in general they have a healthier society, and they have healthier food regulations and everything. They're happier in China too. I mean, if I could, I would.
What do you financially need, if I can ask, to go to Canada?
Well, I'm basically straddled the student loan debt, so I'm pretty much screwed.
Gotcha.
At least for a few years. And I mean, once you have like Kash Patel, who literally said he wants to go after political opponents aggressively, and Trump has floated the idea of military tribunals, so there's only so much language you could do before you get to the actual. Before you get to the action. And like I said, Curtis Yarvin, someone to look up. Jack Posobiec is literally a neo-Nazi, and he is best friends with J.D. Vance. And he wrote a book. Look up the book. Jack Posobiec, Unhuman, is or it's called like Unhuman something. Jack Posobiec, J.D. Vance wrote the foreword for it, I'm pretty sure. This describes liberals and anyone on the left as unhumans who need to be exterminated from society. It's like a modern-day Mein Kampf, but worse. It's worse than the Mein Kampf that Hitler wrote.
I'll check it out.
So Jack Posobiec, and he's best friends with the Trump administration. He just went on a foreign policy trip with Pete Hegseth. And I know we can't say out loud, these guys are neo-Nazis, but they are aligned with them if they're not that.
Okay, it's a good shout.
It's scary, though.
Hegseth
It's scary,
pulled
man.
off a detail while he was in the Department of Defense over, wasn't it a tattoo he had?
He has the Iron Cross. He has like the Crusader Cross. Like they're Crusaders. They're white. Like I said before, white nationalist, Christian nationalism go hand in hand. And Russell Vaught is a Christian nationalist as well. Other Project 2025 people. That's like Project 2025 is like the new doctrine of fascism. The Unhuman book by Jack Posobiec is like the new Mein Kampf, but worse. Read those books. The Unhuman one's scary as shit because it's like, okay, well, if they get far enough,
I consumed. I haven't heard of Unhuman or the philosophy.
The media doesn't cover it. I don't know why they don't cover it. J.D. Vance literally endorsed it. Like, it's crazy. Like, that's the part where you call out, like, hey, you guys sound like Nazis here. But yeah, it's crazy. And all this information is not really public unless if you go digging for it. So I understand why people don't know it, because CNN, MSNBC don't talk about it. They're pretty captured by the White House. The White House is banning AP News from the Oval Office because they're calling it the Gulf of Mexico still, because they're a global news organization. So the White House is already censoring freedom of the press.
Yeah,
if they
that was
don't,
like in the
follow
style
in lockstep.
guidelines. Yeah, that's really stupid to me.
That's so scary though, because if they're gonna censor based off of calling it the Gulf of Mexico, which is still the name of it, we just call it that in America because we're gay. If we're gonna like, if they're gonna censor off that, imagine what else they'll censor off of. Imagine what else they'll censor the people from the White House from if they're gonna do on something that dumb.
Again, I'm not saying I agree with it, but censoring somebody from the press briefing room is not an explicit form of censorship in my mind. Yeah, it's delaying their access, but they'll still get all the same information as other press.
No, but what I'm saying is though, like they're setting the ground. If you're okay with a media organization being kicked out for something so stupid like the Gulf of America, then when we do like another Iraq or Afghanistan, then we're just going to be blocked out. We're setting the standard for that. We're setting the standard for Bush times 50. And the Palestine stuff is crazy. A lot of stuff is going wild.
I think DOJ and FBI are I agree with you, the most concerning thing, right? The purge of the top senior servants at the FBI spooks me, right? You had the head of the New York field office being asked to generate a list of the Jan 6 contributors, refusing
That's
to
crazy.
do so, sending an
It's not even their
email.
choice. It's not even their choice to be on that case. They're directed to because someone violated the law.
Exactly. And it was
in any normal
thousands of them
country,
anyway,
Trump would
doesn't
be in
make any
jail.
sense.
In any normal, in any functioning
here's-
democracy, Trump would be in jail for that.
I'm gonna counter the hey, this let's say we agree on the constitutional crisis, but your I think argument was that this administration will fundamentally change that bedrock of checks and balances that I described, right? And here's my counter to that. While senior appointees, right, in the defense, right, so Secretary of Defense, potentially the Joint Chief of Staffs, right, the most senior ranking military officers, as well as obviously the Attorney General and the FBI Director are stooges, loyalists, right, completely pro-Trump, blindly so. I remain confident that a majority, right, not all, but a majority of the individual service members and FBI agents and all the people that support them are going to uphold their oath to the Constitution.
I hope so. It's scary, man. The propaganda is powerful. It's really scary. And like Musk just put up a post. Musk just said today, if any judge anywhere can stop every presidential action everywhere, we do not live in a democracy. Musk is not dumb. He's not dumb. He's doing this on purpose. When he says if any judge anywhere can stop every presidential action everywhere. Okay, they have not stopped every presidential action. They stopped the illegal ones. They stopped the unconstitutional ones. And this is purposeful propaganda to shut down your brains because Elon Musk thinks you guys are all dumb. Not you, not who I'm talking to. People in chat. He thinks that people in chat are dumbasses. That he thinks you're stupid and you don't understand how the Constitution works or checks and balances. And if you don't understand it, call into my show. Send me an email. We need to talk about this because the fate of our entire way of doing government is relying on this. And I get the point with like the FBI agents and CIA and etc. But like, it's really hard to be a whistleblower. It's really hard to it's really hard to uphold the Constitution. You have to imagine if Trump orders people to go into Gaza and start gunning down civilians, they won't. But they can find people who will. We've had mercenary groups do war crimes before. Trump pardoned the Blackwater war criminals that gunned down civilians in Iraq that were in jail for life. Trump just pardoned them for funsies. So when it comes to private security, and also how Hitler had brown shirts. When Trump pardons all the January 6 violent offenders, they know that they're going to get an instant pardon. Anything they do inside federal land is now legal. If they do it on behalf of Trump and they're in D.C., it is now legal. And that's extremely, extremely scary. And thank you so much, Red Scare. Thank you, Red Scare. That's a great name. Thank you, Red Scare, for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Red Scare. I think you're new to the channel. I haven't seen your name before. Thank you so much for joining me. Please drop a like on the stream, everyone. It really helps with the algorithm. Drop a like on the stream. Hit subscribe. Thank you to our caller as well. You can call in a few minutes. If you want to guarantee a call in, if you disagree with me, there is a line. But if you Venmo or Cash App or PayPal me $10 with your first name and your phone number, I'll look for your number and you could be first for the next call. And I'll say for our caller as well. I apologize for butting in. I do want to make sure I get a good get my points all the way out for the audience. And also I'm probably going to use these for YouTube Shorts clips if that's okay. But yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I can identify myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure I get all my points out.
Oh yeah, I did have one request before I hop off. So I think there's a lot of common ground that we identified, and my request to you is, since I didn't feel entirely satisfied that you said that there's no possibility of good coming out of any of these actions, right?
Out of DOGE.
Do you agree? Do you agree that the deficit or our national debt is remotely a concern?
I think It's a concern in the sense that I want us to do better investments. I'm fine with us spending money, but I want a corporate tax closer to 28% or 35%. I want our tax for the top 1% pre-Trump's tax cuts. I would maintain the tax cuts for middle class and working class. But there's no reason we had to take a deficit hit on those tax cuts. It did not help the economy. The economy stayed relatively stable with the growth in 2017. So with like the debt, I mean, that's the hard part about this, because DOGE, that's why I say it's a Trojan horse, because DOGE brands itself as something Americans want to see happen. And it messages effectively, but it's also a propaganda organization. So in terms of that, I hope it does redirect Americans to actually care about learning about government again, learning about, like, I hope it becomes cool to not be a dumbass. Like in the Trump administration, in the Trump era, it's really cool for people to be dumbasses. They love it, bro. America voted for this. America voted for this. America voted for this. America voted for this, bro. America voted for this. Trump derangement syndrome, TDS. If people can go back to having critical thoughts again, you know, that'd be amazing. Because then we can get to work on these issues. But I believe the DOGE is a Trojan horse. I know it is for, I'm 99.9999% confident it's a Trojan horse. They have, the people they have in there are, like I said before, like cyber hackers with terrible track records, 19, 21-year-olds, 25-year-olds. They have a 25-year-old working there that is a eugenicist who believes in, who worships Hitler.
Yeah, Mark Ennis, right?
Yeah, and they took him back. Meanwhile, you can't talk about DEI or you get fired. So you get fired for talking about DEI. But then a 25-year-old. Did he actually
get rehired? I know they said they would.
Yeah. And they said, oh, he said something when he was a kid. It's like, he's 25. He said it 6 months ago. He's not a kid.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, but if you talk about diversity, then you're evil Marxist. Yeah.
We were finding that common ground, right? So you agree that you would like to see a reduction in the debt. We both agree that we would like it to come from Congress. Where do you think a reduction in spending should come from?
You can reduce defense spending. You could do other forms of spending more effectively. So for healthcare, for example, you know, we spend way too much money on healthcare, and I think we can provide more healthcare for less money, like other countries do. I would propose the Australian system. It's a universal system, 2 tiers. You can also get private healthcare if you want to. So it maintains like that privilege people want to have in America. But everyone's guaranteed a standard level of care. They spend like half per capita what we spend. We spend money to our subsidies to healthcare companies, and then we pay out of pocket, and then we pay for private health insurance. So we pay a lot more money in America in general. If people viewed their payments to deductibles and premiums as taxes, they'd be really mad about them even more. So we can save money in healthcare by restructuring our healthcare system. I hate Obamacare, but it's better than not having it, but I hate it because it is a big giveaway to pharmaceutical companies. But I also don't think we need to have private enterprise involved in when it comes to R&D and pharmaceuticals. There's some area for a market to exist, of course, but when it comes to care and insurance companies, there's a very key system that could be a mixed system that has market elements. There's a market, but also, you know, there's a reason we pay the highest prices for pharmaceutical costs and also for care in general. It's because we don't have any regulation and we spend money on it, but we don't get the same benefits, but we spend more money somehow. So there's a big one. Also, we need to close tax loopholes. We need to add more IRS agents. And I hate when they say, Elon Musk always says, he posts the thing about, they added 80,000 IRS agents to audit you. And I'm like, bro, you make $45,000 a year. The IRS is not going to audit your ass. The reason that they're mad about this is because if we have more IRS agents, they're able to go after high-profile cases. The more IRS agents there are, the less they go after you, the more they go after the big fish, and the more our budget becomes more stable because we're making sure there's not tax evasion more so. We need those agents to do that. But they want to, that's the thing about Musk, they want to kill that. They want to kill the CFPB. They want to kill every single agency that does good regulation.
The CFPB, right? The
it's the judge ordered them. The judge said it was unconstitutional, and they ordered them to keep it up until there could be further court notice. But I guarantee they're going to ignore that, just like the other 8 court orders. But I want Americans. I hate the Democratic Party too because they cannot message. Okay, we need a leader that can message about the effectiveness of government in a very straightforward way that acknowledges the issues, but also says like, hey, these are the problems. Like they're underfunded programs because the Republicans don't want to fund it, or whatever you want to blame it on, or the rich don't pay their fair share. We don't need to have a 90% tax, by the way. We can just go back to Obama level taxes, which is like I said before, corporate tax rate 28%, 35%. Keep up the higher income bracket above for earners who make above $1 million, and then keep everything underneath that lower. So that would help the budget as well. And even Obama, after 2008, his deficit was down to like $450 billion. in 2016. Then Trump did his tax cuts and it went back up to like $800 billion. So we were actually getting pretty close to like being on that trajectory before Trump came in and buffed up defense spending and did all the tax cuts. So yeah, I think we could do it in a way that like we know there's social democracies all around the world that provide these services, have a free market system still. They have like their life expectancy is like 10 years longer, even with similar obesity rates in somewhere like Australia. Because I know Americans blame obesity on our life expectancy, but there is a way we can have a fully functional country that is done well, that's transparent, where we can support each other. I want neighborliness to come back in general. Like the government should be all of us engaging.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's not the government. The government hates us. No, bro, it's a bunch of people. But how about you participate and you can help influence where we go? So yeah, I want all those principles to come back, but I think Elon Musk is evil.
So what do you? Well, that much is clear. What do you know about the Forward Party?
Oh, is that the Yang Gang?
Yeah.
I did not even know that was still a party, to be honest.
Oh, they got Discord. I mean, it's hard to say any party that's not Republican or Democrat is a party, but it's officially recognized. And I thought you made some interesting points about like grassroots efforts and wanting to see change and having a lack of faith in either major political party.
Oh, and someone donated $2 a super chat. Juniper, thank you, Juniper Roberts. They said Curtis Yarvin's wiki page lays it all out sourced. There's also a website called billionaireconspiracy.com that is actually really good because it would appeal to boomers. It's actually designed very nice. Billionaire Conspiracy. It's not a normal conspiracy page that just like scares you. It actually shows all of the connections and it sources them too. There's like 150 sources on this website. So billionaireconspiracy.com. I'll drop it in the chat. The billionaire plan to end America, and this is all well sourced. It's not a conspiracy. We have Peter Thiel talking about so like Peter Thiel handpicked JD Vance to be VP. Peter Thiel described our current American like state as before the Nazi Party took over. He compared us to the Weimar Republic, which is the liberal democracy Germany had in up until 1928, and then Hitler took over. And he compared it to democracy's collapsing. We're like the Weimar Republic. Democracy's exhausted. We need a system post democracy, and all of this is very, very, very sourced. Okay, someone said Bob Shield. Bob Shield said in chat, it's well sourced. Trust me, bro. There's the link right there. Go on the page, scroll down to the bottom. All the sources are there. I know you guys don't know what sources look like because you're a bunch of dumbasses, but like look on the sources. I know you have a functioning brain. I don't want you to look stupid on Main anymore. Go on a different account to look stupid. Have some personal responsibility. Know your shit, guys. Know your shit. It's not cool to be a dumbass anymore in 2025. Know your shit. It's counterculture to know your shit now. Knowing your shit is this like huge thing. Having interest in real conversations where you don't just spout whatever you see on Twitter is a really lost art, and you're hearing a good conversation right now that you got to replicate, you little. Okay.
All right, solid rant. So yeah, you expressed lack of faith in either major political party. So
yeah,
what mechanism do you see for grassroots of the American people to sort of maintain our democracy?
So I think, well, I know for a fact the only party willing to move on anything is the Democratic Party. And I would give the Working Families Party as a model that has been successful in winning actual political power, especially in cities. I believe New York and Philadelphia are the best examples for like winning actual representation. The Working Families Party is interesting because they operate outside of the party, but they do endorse Democratic candidates and they instruct their party to vote for different candidates. So the way to do it is you don't fully swear off Democrats. You don't vote third party. You build coalitions either within the party, like the Social Democrats, or like the Social Democrats or the Progressive Caucus. You create this voter bloc that can then get concessions from the party in a similar way that like parliamentary systems have different parties coming together in coalition governments. So if you have like the Working Families Party get power at certain levels, and then you have an ask, for example, like, hey, Democrats, we have 50,000 people in this state donating this much money. We can help redirect these donations and these voters to you if you just adopt this reform to support our union for home care workers. That's where you can get real political power, is through means like that. If I had the means to do that, I definitely would. I'd love to start like a little PAC, a political action committee, or a third party like that. But yeah, if we look at the Working Families Party model, I think that's the most reasonable model. But you cannot abandon, like, I criticize the Democratic Party. I hate the leadership. Hakeem Jeffries should not be on a microphone. Schumer, Connolly should not be on a microphone. It should be, they have some young, I always compare, do you watch NBA at all? Any basketball?
It's a show? NBA?
Do you watch any basketball? Like NBA?
No. Not a sports guy.
Okay, never mind. This won't make sense. But for the chat, if you do know it, Democrats have a bunch of people who are like old Shaq on the Celtics after his prime, and they're just trying to move. They can't do it. They keep getting injured. They gotta hang it up. Let the young stars take over, because not only does it like make the party look bad, because all these guys are unpopular already. Like Pelosi's running again, bro. Pelosi's running at like 86 again. No one wants that. No one wants that. But if people cannot stomach being a Democrat, I want parties or other forms of power to organize on the outside, where if you're like, the Democratic Party sucks, you can still organize with people who are liberal or progressive, or at least just like moderate and reasonable. Because there's Republicans I know now that are like joining the Democratic Party because they're constitutionalists and they care about the Constitution, and the Democratic Party is the new party for that. And we need to come together at this point on these issues. But definitely at the state, local, city level, those are the areas where you build at. Those are the issues where you get real political power. People voting in the general election and then never voting again is probably the dumbest, most inverse thing possible. You get real power in these boring elections. School board, if you can get your school board to turn over, that creates a ripple effect. The way we educate our kids is huge for the future in the next 15, 20 years. So every election matters, that you can vote in, vote for it, run for something, like just do anything you possibly can. Everyone pushing. If we all push in the right direction even a little bit, it's going to create a huge change, in the same way that if we all start just littering, the road's going to be filled with litter. But if we all don't litter, or if we all pick up a piece of trash every single day, the world could be a lot more clean. If we all do our part, we don't all don't carry the weight of the world on your back, for anyone who's listening, but definitely, do what you can.
Yeah, shout out to your chat. This is why people homeschool. My wife and I actually want to homeschool. Yeah, I think it's problematic. Lot of issues with local schools. So I want to ask you about population decline, right? I found that really fascinating. From the time I was in high school, there was so much conversation about overcrowding globally, and now you look at developed countries like Korea, where supposedly in 2 generations they're going to be a failed civilization if they can't get their birth rate up, right? Is that something you've paid any attention to, I guess, in the U.S. or other countries?
I mean, sure. The main reason why this is an issue is because of the economic systems and capitalism, and the need to constantly keep growing with aging, retirement population and a tightening workforce. It doesn't need to be this way. Population is only an issue because there's a strain on the social programs. And right now, when all the wealth is held by like 5 people, and globally, like all the wealth is held by like 10 people, it's crazy. Like 99% of the wealth, or 90% of the total wealth. Bringing up some of those resources in different ways can help. But also, there's so many areas of the world which have birth rates that are not declining, these developing nations or nations that are not really stable, that people try to immigrate from. And that's where immigration can make our economy extremely strong. Like having as much immigration as possible can free up our markets and make this economy better and benefit literally everyone involved. But we're choosing this isolationist streak where we hate immigrants, we hate our neighbors. The Pope is asking Catholics to be more empathetic. They think he's the devil now because they're asking for empathy, and apparently empathy is bad now for the Republican Party. But yeah, we need to care about other people in general to have this kind of world. But all these birth, issues can be helped also in America. We don't have any paid family medical leave. We don't have universal child care, which are things that European countries provide in a plentiful amount.
Well, sure, but those same countries are facing that same falling birth rate. I mean, the stronger social net doesn't seem to solve that issue of population decline.
Yeah, but an overall more stable system. So, like for example, right now in America, the home ownership rate for like 25 to 34-year-olds is like 30% less than what it was for boomers at the same age.
It's abysmal.
So the lack of stability and the lack of a solid future, the lack of our society tackling things like the climate and with environmental issues, and the lack of our system fixing itself. Like right now, I guarantee you, there are millions of couples in America right now who are waiting to have a kid because they don't know how this current administration is going to go. So like more optimistic outlooks for the future, optimistic leadership, a world that's more focused towards having less scarcity and being able to benefit from that. It can all contribute, but also, like I said, immigration has been immigration is America's number one tool, to be honest, because we don't have the population here and we don't have the forced labor here. I know we try to have the kids work in Arkansas in the meat factories and forced labor from prisons, but we don't do that here, and I think that's a good thing.
Yearn for the mines.
They yearn for the mines. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, immigration is awesome for helping this issue for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Immigration. So I think Africa has a significantly higher population growth, and yes, immigration is a lifeline for us. And I am concerned about the crackdowns around illegal immigration because I agree it's a significant issue, but at the same time, fundamentally, Americans will not work these agriculture jobs. They won't. They tried offering $20 an hour. No one in California would take these fucking jobs. So yeah, I think that's going to cause prices to rise at I think meatpacking plants. I think agricultural. It's a lot of issues.
I would also say Americans think and this is I want to end on this, I guess, and let you ask your final thing. But Americans don't know how immigration works because over half of the deportations right now are not for illegal immigrants. They are here over visa overstays, which is not illegal. They're not criminal. It's a civil infraction. And also asylum seekers, and these are both things. Immigration is such a huge investment in America. We all get money back from it. It's harder to see it, but people get mad about giving $50 million to house migrants. But undocumented or non-citizen migrants is 100% different from illegal immigrants. So the Trump administration is deporting dreamers right now. There's stories of them detaining random American citizens, just looking to get their numbers up because they want high ESPN stats. There's a dreamer in Florida that got detained and deported. Who was brought here as a little kid, who now works as a school teacher, and he was deported. And that person is a huge benefit to America. They have done nothing wrong at all, ever, and now they're being deported because Americans don't know any better. And the Trump administration wants everyone to think that every immigrant is a bloody, violent, murderer, a predator, or whatever, and that's just not the case. It's the opposite, actually. Americans are more likely to be that than immigrants are, just on a per number basis. But anything you want to finish up on?
Yeah, I think my summation is, my wife and I did just have our first kid a couple months ago, and I agree it's a vote for the future. And if folks are not a federal employee, I would encourage them not to postpone just because of this administration. But I get it if it's for a budgetary reason, because it's a vote for the future. And if you're an optimist and you want to see, this nation remain a nation of values, I think we both do. I think it's an awesome thing to do. And I hope people get more engaged at the local level, like you were talking about, engage politically, volunteer, pursue conversation like this with friends in an appropriate venue. And yeah, man, thanks for being well researched, and I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, thank you for this conversation. I want to say as well, I don't mean to, crap on your Elon Musk, liking Elon Musk, but I also would say that C-level positions in general, or owners of companies or whatever position you want to talk about, these positions naturally select for those who have sociopathic or narcissistic tendencies, because people like that are willing to make very emotionless decisions based on just making money and making transactions without regard for humans, and they also want the power. They really want that power really bad. So you might be in that position, and you might even have some chaotic actors who are just very complicated in the way they act and how they act different ways. And I don't know, he might be overdosing on ketamine every day and just going bonkers off his social media addiction. Or maybe he is something. Maybe Russia and China have something on him. Maybe Russia and China have something on Trump too, because of the way they worship those countries. Trump talks great about China and Russia and North Korea and Hungary. He talks terribly about our allies. I think that might be for a reason. We don't know what the reason is yet, but historically, maybe we'll find out someday. So, like I said before, I think you can have awe for something or be like, wow, this guy is amazing, or this guy was super intelligent and super smart. But he can also be a very dangerous and chaotic person who wants to do, you don't even need to say once. You could say he got so power hungry, he's addicted to power. He's like a drug addict just searching for that next high. And that's one of the reasons Jeffrey Epstein exists, because they want that next thing they have power over and they can control, because they can manipulate reality and just be able to make anything into what they want. They could run these secret organizations and never get caught. It's a high for them. So I don't want to crap on your Elon Musk, liking him too much, because the entrepreneurial feats is a impressive thing. But also I would say
the American dream to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see. He's born in a wealthy family. He had wealthy friends, and he also manipulated currencies and lied about stock valuations and was able to boost his stocks through stock manipulation. And he made his money from like meme coins, cryptocurrencies. A lot of it's from meme cryptocurrencies that he boosted himself. He is a defrauder. He is a gangster. He makes money not from supporting people, but from buying people who are really good, amazing people. I would say we should respect the people doing the rockets and making the making these big strides.
I think that's the common ground. I have a lot of respect and admiration for SpaceX, Tesla, and the people that work there, and the tremendous American accomplishments those organizations represent. And I give some credit to Elon, even if you give none.
Yeah, give credit to him. Give credit to him for that, but also say like what he's doing right now is an authoritarian power grab. Like he should be cut out from the government. And you could even say it's a flaw of our system. Like of course, if there's a rich person that can just like spend $300 million and buy Twitter to sway the election and get ultimate power, of course they're going to do that. That should not be allowed in our system. So you can say like on one hand he's a really good entrepreneur and respect that and think wow he's amazing, but also say in the same way that same like. Those same amazing qualities of being able to get funding and convince people of a vision for the future and kind of like just like have that blank face, that blank expression and just like sell this idea to someone that you might even know is not true. Like that same like really impressive way that he's able to organize these investments can also be used in a very, evil way, of course. But I think we'd mostly agree. Thank you for calling in. Really do appreciate it. Pretty long conversation, but I did enjoy this because I don't usually get to talk to someone who's like reasonable at all, who slightly disagrees. So these are always fun conversations. I guarantee if you hear my stream most nights, it's going to be someone who believes that Hillary Clinton flew to the moon with a box of condoms to sell to the moon gods. So
yeah, try to filter for younger callers. Sorry, man. Take it easy.
All right, I'm going. Thank you. Nice. Your echo chamber. Yes, is my echo chamber, baby. Did someone donate $10 to get ahead of the line? If you have a chance to donate or become a channel member, really appreciate it. It really helps the work that I do. If you donate through Venmo or PayPal or Cash App, Jolah Politics, you can see it down below. Jolah Politics on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal to do donations. Really appreciate donations there. It goes right to my account, like I said. You can super chat, drop a donation, become a channel member for $3 a month. It's $3 a month to become a channel member. Oh my God. But yeah, if you want to jump ahead of the call-in line, there's a lot of people calling in. Donate money. Donate $10. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Barbara sent me $10. Thank you, Barbara. How are you doing, Barbara? Is Barbara in the chat? Guys, I talked about Barbara the other night. Is Barbara in the chat? I'm putting this on subscriber only for a second. We have to find Barbara if Barbara Newman's watching. Is Barbara watching? Did I miss Barbara? I didn't see that Barbara sent me $10 on Venmo to this phone number that I don't know if I can use, but thank you for sending it. There's Barbara. How do I get through now? Okay, well, leave a voicemail quick. Oh, wait a second.
Hi, I was able to send the $10.
Yeah, I think this is Barbara, if I had to guess. Yes, it is. This is Barbara. Everyone who watches my channel, this is the famous Barbara from the other night. Yes.
Call
yes.
from.
Hello.
Hello. Did I get through?
Yep, you got through. How's it going?
Barbara.
Yes.
Everyone who watches my channel, this is
Yeah, make sure you pause my stream. I can hear myself talking in the background.
Okay, I turned it off. Go
All right,
ahead.
awesome. Yeah, how's it going?
Very good. I've been watching for you all the time. I managed to get all your notifications on both of my phones. So I get to check in all the time and let you know that people out there caring about you. And
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
The phone, the TV, and also you look a little bit more relaxed, and your voice sounds a little bit more relaxed. So hopefully you're doing better. Anyways, so
yeah, we're dealing with it. Things are happening.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, things are popping up all over the place. So I'm always trying to everything I can see. On both phones. I got one phone that just exists to find the other one when I can't find it. So, but both of them are geared up for you, so I can see what you're up to. So
there you go. No matter where you are, no matter what phone you have, you'll be able to see it. We were listening to. I heard your voicemails the other night you've been leaving. I really appreciate that you check in and watch the channel. I also see the comments that you leave on my my short videos. I saw that you left some comments that you were checking in.
Yeah, that's what I always say. Just checking in, keep up the good work. That's what I check in. I mean, I may do that actually 6 times a day. I don't know how many times you see it, but anyway, cool.
Yeah, it's really good to see that. Really supportive.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So I'm a baby boomer, so I heard what you were just saying about baby boomers, but I also was part of the Occupy, right? Remember the Occupy in New York? Well, while they hadn't got shut down yet.
The Great Recession, 2008, 2009? 2011. I forgot what year it was, 2011, yeah.
Right. And then
and
I didn't get to go down there because there was a 2-day snowstorm, and then the next weekend I couldn't go because they had already crashed the place all up. But meanwhile, they had continued the Occupy into New Hampshire, where I was living at that time, and it was time for the primary up in there. I think it was either the 12th or whatever. The Occupy in New Hampshire, in Manchester, had geared up, and we had a big thing. We couldn't sleep in the tents, but we had all these tents and TV cameras, and I got to see Lawrence O'Donnell and all those people. I actually got to say that I was a fan to Barbara Walters, Andrea Mitchell, I'm sorry. And it was crazy, but I was part of that group. Started with about 6 people in a shop at Greg's place, and next thing you know, it just blossomed, and we had you can actually look it up on the web. It was called Occupy the Primary 2012. And so that was pretty good. But, I'd like to see the Occupy do their thing now, and Invisible to do their thing, and to get little groups that had things going on, because there were things going on. And
you see, Democrats are mad.
Yeah, they're really getting mad.
The Democrats are getting annoyed about all the phone calls. They said Indivisible is getting too many people to call. Hakeem Jeffries' office complained about it. They were getting annoyed because they said they have no power to do anything. So that means the phone calls are working, though, right? If the Democrats are getting mad, we're making them do something.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear yesterday the guy get up, I don't know his name, saying that about the dick pics? Did you see that?
Yeah,
Marjorie
I saw that.
Greene was, I see what's going on. Marjorie Greene shouldn't be, cheer me because she brought up a dick pic, and then he said, I'm going to have a dick pic. So he put up Elon's face. That was quite hysterical. I thought it was going to fall on the floor. So, I'm really
they cried
against
about that.
him. I was really against him because at first I'm thinking, okay, he's like a Nikola Tesla, and I'm a big fan of Nikola Tesla. He was a little crazy, but he was pretty smart and inventive. But this guy, I'm watching it. It's like I really question it patriotic. I don't think he has any patriotism actually for any country, because his family's from South Africa, and they had to leave when the apartheid ended. So that must mean that they have some reason to leave because they feel threatened because they did something to apartheid. Then he comes up to Canada, and then he becomes an American citizen. So what country is he really truly patriotic to? I mean, I really question the patriotism.
I would say himself. If they're self-serving, they want to do things that increase their own chances to get more and more power. But I feel like people are kind of confused about what's happening in America, especially with Elon Musk, because I hear people saying, like, he has so much money, he has so much power. Why does he need more money and power? He's doing this for us. And I'm like, you think they ever stop? He's worth $450 billion. He didn't stop at 100 billion or 200 billion or 300 billion. He wants more and more power. He's never going to stop.
No, they're never going to stop. They aren't. And I'm so embarrassed for the Republicans to just fall in line with all these people they're putting in there. And hearing the whole thing about what went on as of Ukraine being handed over to Russia,
Yeah, really sad.
That just breaks my heart. I mean, it makes me want to cry.
It's so weak too. It's
so
so weak and
horrible.
pathetic from Trump and all of them. Just seeing them just concede, and it's obviously a lot of influence. They don't have any values or principles. They don't know. I mean, they probably do know, in general terms, what's happening. But they are being controlled by probably Russia and China, and like everyone they're putting in the cabinet right now, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, all of them have ties to Russia and China. Literally all of them have disclosures to Russia and China. They have financial and also power. Tulsi visited Assad, who is also a known friend of like Russia. So yeah, Tulsi's very, very weird. They're all like literally Russian TV is celebrating. Even Republicans agreed that Tulsi Gabbard was a national security threat. It was a bipartisan consensus that she's the threat, and now she is leader of our intelligence. Can
you believe it? Well, I think they're trying to I think Putin is trying, and he's succeeding, to humiliate the United States all over the world, so that people look down on us. They don't look up to the United States anymore. They're going to look at us as pity and as an enemy, and to break NATO, and stuff like that. So
they said that out loud. They said that's the goal. Russia and China, they don't like each other very much, but they do come together for the goal of their common enemy. They want to destroy the United States from within with propaganda, misinformation campaigns. It's working, and Americans are believing literally anything they see on TV because they're so mad about LGBT issues and pronouns and race issues and DEI. They're so mad about those simple civil rights. They're mad about civil rights, so they're okay with all these robber barons stealing from the American people. And they talked about corruption. They don't like corruption, but now they're allowing more corruption than ever. But I did want to ask you, in all your organizing time, do you have any advice for the youth right now? Someone who might be like 18, 22, 25, 30, who's never been involved in politics. Any advice on where to find people to organize with, how to start organizations, or local organizing if they don't have it, how to keep themselves motivated so they can, emotionally and physically and psychologically survive it. Do you have any advice for all of us who are trying to make sure we keep the efforts moving?
Yes, I do. Well, two ways. It's two things I want to say, and I'm not sure if you'd be happy that I'm going to say this, but I'm going to have to say it because I feel it's true. Is you can indicate to people when you talk to them that what they're believing is dumb. Okay, that's the thing. But then you've got to send them to some place to find out what the truth is. Not the in-depth truth, but at least the top of the cream of the top of the milk, what is some of the truth. They have to go, rather than saying they're wrong, but where do they go to find a basis of what is the truth? That's one thing that's missing. The other thing is, I would say, with you is you're their age, you talk, in the same way, somewhat like a gamer. You remind me of a gamer. There's a lot of people with the same demeanor as you, playing games with each other, okay? But you're being intelligent, okay? So that makes you kind of unique right now. So I see people trying to copy you now, but you're unique. And then the other one is these different groups, for example, Invisible. I would start there. Call them up. Well, I'm old school, so I always call. But call them up and get in contact, because they will, just like Occupy, they went all over the country and made little groups, okay? And then I know what we did in New Hampshire is, once we realized, we all sat together and we watched Obama give his State of the Union speech. And one by one, everything Occupy wanted, because when you ask Occupy what you want, your answer is everything. You never say one thing, you say everything. And you never give any leader's name so that they can go after the leader, so there's no leader, which drove the press crazy. It was so mad because they had nobody that they can go after to find out who they were. So talk to them, and they'll start little groups. Now, in New Hampshire, when we heard Obama one by one list the things he wanted to do were the exact same things that we wanted to do. We're going, well, why would we fight against Obama if he wants the exact same thing? So we literally never even met again, because what we did is we all divided all up to all the different candidates. This was New Hampshire now, all the different candidates. And we went to different ones, divided up, and we worked for all those campaigns, the same we would have worked, including for Obama, but all the little ones. So what in New Hampshire, which is pretty conservative, what every single person that went down to Washington, D.C. from New Hampshire on that election was a Democrat. And they were all women.
Yeah,
So
the women control, like women do all the organizing in any area.
Well-
It'll be women, it'll be black women, it'll be, especially in the cities, black women run all the
Well, no,
politics.
this wasn't
Women
all-
in
this
general
wasn't all-
do a lot of the organizing.
Organization wasn't all women, but the
Oh no, I'm
people
saying
that
like the
were going to
volunteer.
be-
Yeah. It's
well,
just a lot
I'm
of
not
women.
talking about volunteers. I'm talking about people that actually ran. Okay.
Oh, okay, the ones that
And-
ran. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, all the ones that ran and won were all women, and they were all Democrat from New Hampshire that year. So if anybody says, "Oh, the Occupy just died out" or whatever, they didn't die out. They just did something different as of the day of that particular speech from Obama. So Occupy can do a lot, and Visible can do a lot. And they're also very open to anybody, wherever you are in the world. You can call them and you can be part of their, the local group, and go take it from there. Now, so does that give you advice? That's my advice from a boomer.
No, that's really good,
my-
especially the point you said about like I try to call people dumb in a way that's, you know how a parent acts if they don't yell at their kid, but they act disappointed and they try to say the right way to
Yeah.
go. I feel like
Yeah,
talking to
it's
people
true.
like that works as well. When I say to someone, I don't know if you've ever seen me talking to someone and say this, where I'm like, hey man, you need to put some work in to understand what you're talking about. I'll say even like, you sound like a dumbass right now. I don't want you to sound dumb. Like I want to have a conversation with you, but you're not ready for this conversation. And you can go to these
Yeah, but that's the
locations
way they
to find the
talk.
info.
But but that's
You got to speak
perfect
their
because
language a little bit.
that
Yeah.
is. But
Because
you know,
it's not me being offended.
I
And
go to
I
the
want
mi-
to give
go
them the
to the-
sources too. Yeah.
Well, I go to the Midas Mighty. Okay, they tell the current truth, because if you can keep track of the current truth, like as of what was said today, and be told that that's a lie and why it's a lie, that's a start. Okay, and Rachel Maddow. I'm not going to say MSC in general, but I will say Rachel Maddow. So that's a 9 o'clock Eastern time, and then Lawrence O'Donnell, and then the next one is
Yeah.
can't think of her
And
name
I would say
right
we need
now.
really good
But it-
messengers too. We need really good people who,
yeah,
who
those
are
three.
really
I'm
popular.
not, yeah, those three.
I feel like we need
Because
someone to take
they
their
do the
message and do it in
research.
take their message though and do it in like a, not Trumpian, but in a very simple, straightforward way. We need someone to take those as like examples of what we need to talk about and then talk about it in a way that can really connect to people. Because I think like Trump really
Well,
benefits
maybe-
from all the straight talk.
Well, you know what might be good if somebody were to take the hour of Rachel and put it down into brief it down. You know what I'm saying? Bring it down to the issues and
Mhm.
you know, just take her ideas and brief it, because my degree is in paralegal studies, so we had to take a whole case, and we used to have to put it down to 2 sentences. Okay, so that is not easy. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not an easy thing to do, but you have to take it and condense it down, and then put that out. So, because sometimes she uses the bigger words and all like that. But, if those three in the Midas Mighty, in the Midas, different Midas, and legal AF and stuff like that, and if you could show them on a daily basis, one or two advice even, that, okay, so he said this today, okay, so this is a lie because X, okay? Then you got a crack. Okay, you got a crack, and then they go, well, if they're lying about this, what else are they lying about? But and so I hope that answers that question.
Yeah,
Anyway,
definitely. And I'm
that's
trying
my
to focus
thought.
my channel on making convincing arguments, because we do need convincing arguments, because the facts don't appeal to a lot of people. A lot of people are very emotional, just like the people in chat right now. I see you guys talking. You're all emotional babies, and I want you to call in once we move on to another caller. I want you all to call in because I want to explain to you why you're wrong and why you're dumb and how we can improve, because I want you to be stronger. I want you to have self-love. You don't need a big strong man like Elon Musk or Donald Trump to solve all your problems. We can come together as neighbors and fix problems. We can find out as a country to come together and be positive, have an optimistic view for the future, care about real American values. You don't like being a little angry, isolated little baby boy is not the not the truth. It's not the way you should be going. We can come together, guys.
Well, that brings a good point, and that's one word: education. Look at all the bullying in school and stuff like that. That goes on, and all the hate between this and that and the other thing. And it is confidence, and like I'm just angry and hateful, and people shooting up their fellow students and stuff, and being bullied and this and that. And I think I went through a time when I'm a girl, but I went through a time like I don't really feel like being a girl, because when I went to high school in 9th grade, I just couldn't wait to take shop because my dad was a carpenter and I wanted to be able to work with my dad. And they're like, oh, you can't take that because only boys can have that. I mean, at that point, something that I had really wanted, and I was so glad to get, out of private school into public school so I could take shop. No, you can't have that because you're a girl. That's what set me into what we would call feminism. And then I started listening, and they're talking about feminism. And first thing they said at this meeting of feminism, they said, look at the definition of feminism, feminine, in the dictionary. And I'm going to challenge you to do that, okay? You don't want that definition. Weak, submissive. That's the definition in the dictionary. So, okay. So all the way, here we go. Obviously, that's why I can't go to shop. So, and we couldn't have, at that time, the girls didn't have sports. They didn't have the sports the way they did. And, it was just, and boys can only go in this, girls can only go in that. We didn't have that. What is it? Title IX, Title 10, or whatever title it is that says you have to spend equal. We didn't have that when I was a kid. We didn't have stuff like that. So what can you do? I don't know. I think I'm wandering into Netherlands, but I think it's education. That's what I'm going. And the people are dumb. The people aren't being challenged. I had Jesuit training, and then when I went to college, it was Jesuit. So I failed first and second grade because I fell asleep in class. Okay, so I actually failed the class. So then my grandmother, God bless her soul, spent the money to send, I'm the oldest of 8, to send a couple of us to the parochial school. And now all of a sudden I have art every day. I have singing every day. We have exercise every day. We have all of this stuff, that we, what I'm saying? They were serious. They made us think, compare and contrast. They made us do all the hard work.
Yeah.
Nobody, no dumbing down of anything.
People they want to learn through just like random slogans and pictures now. I appreciate you calling in. Definitely want you to call in again sometime. The viewers that are fans of my channel, we love your voicemails that you leave. So definitely keep on leaving comments. We'll try to respond to comments that you leave, especially in chat and everything. I'm gonna go back to debating some really fun callers, hopefully. But I really appreciate you calling in. Really fun conversation.
I went crazy with joy when I heard you mention my name the other. I was like, oh my God, okay. Like I felt so seen, and it's very painful to my soul to watch children dying from this and that because of what's going on with our government, and it's so painful for me. But when I feel that I'm connecting with you, it gives me a lot of joy, I have to honestly say. So I do thank you for that. Really perks me up to think that, you and I are like distant friends, sort of like. Anyways, I hope you don't mind if I call you a friend. But anyways,
I really appreciate that. Yeah, we do spend a lot of hours talking to each other. All of us do. All the normal viewers on my channel. So all of you guys, really appreciate you guys. And yeah, coming together, and I'm happy I'm able to facilitate a space where everyone can feel like they have somewhere to go during these times. Someone just left a $5 super chat, by the way. Someone donated $5. XX Van Dread in chat donated $5 and said chat loves Barbara.
Oh, really? Thank you. Well, I don't know that I don't interact with people in your age very much, but anytime I do, I will send them to you. I promise I will send them to you because, you talk like them. That's all I can say. Not in a good, not in a bad way, but, I think you can, they're not going to listen to a boomer, honest to God, but they will listen to you. They will.
Yeah, I'm a
right,
gamer.
well,
Yep.
thank you for everybody, and I'm so happy when I see good things in the chat saying good things, and I feel like that's too bad when I see people being stupid to you. So, but don't let them get to you, because a lot of people on the internet say, oh, they were so hurt by what people say, but they shouldn't take into effect the trolls. You know what I mean? Okay,
Yep, no
well, I will
troll
let
zones.
you go.
No
Yeah,
trolls.
yeah.
No respect for the trolls. Thank you so much.
None.
Again, Barbara, see you in chat. Everyone say hi to Barbara in chat for when she goes back in there. Ignore the mean comments. That those people are probably 12 years old, or they're bots from Russia, or they're so dumb they should be bots from Russia.
Oh, some of the stuff is so stupid that it's so stupid the way they word things. You can tell they're not even English speakers. So I always get in those, and I go, oh, how much did you get for trolling this time? Who did you get your money from, China, or was it Russia, or where did you get who's paying you?
The worst part is a lot of them are Americans. They're not even getting paid, and they're Americans. They're just that dumb. They sound like that naturally. So like they're not even getting paid. They wish they were getting paid.
Do you hear that this guy got indicted for like 341 SWATs and things that he was doing, and bomb threatening and all this stuff to different schools and organizations? It was on the news, and he was.
Yeah, there's a lot of weak people sending out messages like that.
But they caught him. And he's been indicted for making all these calls. But anyways, I don't know if you heard that yet, but that'll come out soon enough. All right. Well,
I'll check up on that. Yeah, thank you for calling, and have a great rest of your night.
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya. Oh my god. Start a show with Barbara. That's so wholesome. That's so wholesome, dude. It's so wholesome. Listen up, liberal. Measles outbreak. Oh, my phone died. Wait, I need to grab my charger quick. 1 second. I need a drink too. 1 second. How's everyone feeling? Let me know, chat. How's chat feeling? Anyways, remember Venmo, PayPal. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Someone donated $5. I forgot your name and my phone died. I'll tell you that when I get it, or I'll say your initials. Thank you for $5, though. I did see that. The best way to donate is through Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. Jolah Politics. You can send it right to Jolah Politics. Leave your first name and your phone number if you want to call in. If not, though, you can just leave another message saying thank you for the stream, or you can just say hi, what's up. I can respond on Venmo, I think, and PayPal. Cash App, I can leave a reaction. But yeah, Jolah Politics, best place for donations. If you want to donate right to me, right to the stream. Also, channel memberships are huge for visibility. Channel memberships too. Thank you for $10, another American. Thank you, $10. Super chat, thank you. And channel members also get this emote. I'll make more emotes in the future. But my favorite emote is Oxy. It's the only one I really made, but I love Oxy. Oxy is my favorite emote. He's so cute. I love my Oxycontin doll. The party of child mutilation. Why do you always think about the genitals of children, you weirdo, bro? Chill. Should be placed on Neighborhood Watch. Neighborhood Watch. That's conniving. Whoa, I'm glad D Rose came home. You didn't deserve him neither. You ain't deserve them neither. You better not speak on Serena. Your homeboy should be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. Send it up to Pac. Put the whole label on me. I'ma get him dropped. Sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. How many stocks do I really have in stock? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Howdy there.
How are you?
Howdy do there, brother. I'm doing all right.
Sounds good. So you say Doge is fake.
Yeah.
Why?
They have released 0 reports to the public on anything, 0 transparency. They will not work with Republicans or Democrats in Congress. They have random like cyber hacker kids going in there, not forensic auditors or budget people. They've made 0 recommendations on anything. It's a fake agency. It was never approved by Congress. They're bypassing the Constitution by shutting down agencies unilaterally by themselves. And yeah, it's just overall fake. They're not really doing anything when it comes to waste or fraud or whatever.
So none of what they've been coming out with is true.
So they are taking information that's already publicly available on usaspending.gov, and they're probably lying about it most of the time, or they're just like showing something that's in the budget. Nothing. They have not even from that though. They have not said anything about like fraud, or corruption. There's things you can argue about when it comes to spending for different organizations, but they have not found anything at all to justify closing down USAID or anything like that.
Again, so being fake means that they're just non-existent. Everything that they're saying is not true.
Everything they've said so far is not true, or it's misleading. I would say that. They've not found anything or done anything. It is pretty much a fake organization. Like I said, it's not approved by Congress. So whatever
they've
DOGE
not found anything. They've not shown anything. They've not shown any waste at all.
Nothing that was not already publicly available. So there's no reason they had to seize our like treasury and all that kind of stuff and put private servers in it.
Just because it's not publicly available doesn't mean that they're not showing it to the public who does not have the time.
Well, then there's no reason. Why are they installing private servers into the Treasury and USAID? Why are they installing private servers into sensitive parts of our Department of State and other government agencies if they're just going to show us like publicly available info?
Where is any evidence that they're installing any private service anywhere?
On the actual reporting, do you not? Let me find a link.
Yes, I have looked at I've looked at DOGE. I've looked into very much, and no, there's no private servers that DOGE is setting up. DOGE is using the servers that we already have set up to find fraud and find waste. And again,
so there
USAID is controlled by who?
So
who controls USAID?
So for example, I have a link on screen right now. There's one from The Wired. There's a few other organizations, Vox, NBC, Reuters. I'm just saying for the future. No, that's fine. That's fine.
I can't look at a screen while I'm doing this.
No, I understand that.
Right now is USAID is run by who?
No, I say about the private server. The private servers are real. They're installing private servers and like other.
Okay.
We don't know what else they did in these agencies, but the servers are real. But USAID, what are you saying about that now?
So private servers are real. They've installed private servers into the federal government.
Yeah. With our sensitive info.
And those private servers are doing what?
We don't know. They're not being transparent about literally anything. I wish we could know. That'd be awesome.
I mean, right now, what is the U.S. government doing with anything?
How does that answer my question?
I'm just saying right now, like I'm going to juxtapose your position here, which is you have a bureaucracy is coming in, setting up private servers and not being transparent, or we have all of this other things that are not being transparent at all.
What do you mean by all of these other things?
All of anything.
Well, all the spending they've talked about is publicly available on usaspending.gov, right? So it is public, what we do.
It's not. Nothing is public. Nothing. I mean, other than Doge, and understand, like, when I mean that, yes, you are correct. Everything is public. If you can dig down and take the time, if you have an unlimited amount of time that you can sit down and not get paid and not get any other financial contribution, you can sit down and find these things.
They've revealed nothing. Do you think we sent like $50 million of condoms to Palestine? To Hamas?
So if that's true, I want it to stop.
Do you think we are, though? Do you believe we are? That's one thing that Elon Musk said. And Doge said that.
Okay, so if we are, it needs to stop.
Yeah, but can we trust Doge? They said it's happening.
Okay, so here's the thing. If I tell you that I have $50 million and I'm going to spend it here, and you say that's great, then I have $50 million I'm going to spend here, and that's great. If I don't tell you that I have $50 million and I don't tell you where I'm going to spend it, but I'm going to take if you have $1, like how much money, what's a good amount of money for you that I can take out of your pocket right now and spend on whatever I want?
The thing you just said to me makes no sense, sir, and how it relates to this conversation.
Okay, so in relation to this conversation right now, I want you to hand me $20 and I'm going to spend it on something.
Here's $20.
Okay. And I need another $20 because I'm going to spend it on something else. Now you're going to give me $40?
Here's $20. Yes. I'm a nice guy.
So you're just going to, you would legitimately just hand me money without knowing where it was going.
Well, I feel like at this point it sounds like something illegal, and I'm not interested in that with you.
So, I mean, you can say that all you want, but what I'm saying to you is this. Hand me $20, and I'm going to spend it on something. And if you're okay with that, then hand me another $20, I'm going to spend it on something else. Or
What
maybe
are you,
the same
okay,
thing.
What are you getting to?
The subject of you do not know where your money is going.
But
And
it's
we,
all publicly
as the
reported,
American
brother. It's all
taxpayer, do
publicly
not know where our
reported.
money is going.
No, it's publicly reported. Like we know where the money's going. We do know that just because Americans don't do research doesn't mean we don't know where the money's going. But when I asked you about the condoms sent to Palestine, do you think that was a true thing Doge reported on? Because Doge was very confident about this. This amazing agency detecting waste and fraud. One of the first things they found was the condoms to Palestine. Do you think they're right about that?
They actually walked that back and explained that the condoms weren't going to Palestine, that the condoms were going over to prevent HIV.
Well, they said Hamas was making bombs with the
15
condoms for
million.
2 weeks. So that's pretty big. That's pretty bad, though. If for 2 weeks they let it stand, that there was Hamas getting condoms from us, 1 billion condoms to make condom bombs. The White House repeated this like 50,000 times. They doubled it to $100 million. And then 2 weeks later, after being asked by the media face to face, Elon Musk finally needs to admit he lied about it. Why would I trust him on anything if he's going to lie about something so stupid?
So the media came out and said, hey, look, we've done independent investigation. We've done everything that we were supposed to do.
It was on the budget. It was on the budget, though.
Everything that you're saying is wrong. And Doge completely and the White House completely walked it back and said, you know what, you guys are right. That the $50 million was not going to condoms. The $50 million was going to an HIV prevention.
What I'm saying is, okay, if they got that so wrong, or if they lied about it to the fact that they said Hamas was getting, they did not just say, by the way, it was going to Palestine. They said Hamas was making floating condom bombs with the 1 billion condoms. They said this for 2 straight weeks. If Elon Musk and Doge is going to report that, when you can clearly see in the budget, if we are trusting these people to look through all of our private information as U.S. citizens, if they are that incompetent, dumb, or if they're lying to that extent, why would I trust them with any information if they cannot get that right?
This is the most amazing thing, right? Is that somebody can say something and then be wrong, and then and this is where the transparency comes in, because they're like, look, I was wrong when I said this. I'm going to walk that back.
It was 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago. They were debunked already. They just would not admit it. He had to admit it because he was face to face with the press. He couldn't hide behind the screen. No, but he had 2 weeks of it being debunked. No, listen. I'm sick of you guys. I'm sick of you guys having no personal responsibility in your shit. He knew it was a lie for weeks and weeks. He had to man up to it when they asked him in person, okay? That's the only reason they ever admit that it was false. So even if they were wrong about it, okay, even if they were wrong and admitted after 2 weeks, if they were that stupid, if they're that dumb, if they're such dumbasses, they can't read a line in an actual budget. How can I trust them to scan the entire U.S. government and upload it to a private server? If they're that dumb, incompetent, or liars at that point, is what I'm saying. Why would I trust anything they say? What is another thing you believe from them? Because you believe literally anything.
Regardless if they were wrong or not, right? They were wrong. They backed it up. And they still said no. They still said we're not going to send condoms over there, even if
they're liars. They're liars. Bring up something else you heard on the internet. I want to hear what else you were told to say.
I mean, I'm not bringing up anything I was told to say.
What's another thing USAID did wrong? What's another thing USAID did wrong?
Let's not even talk about USAID. You know what? Let's talk about USAID. Who runs USAID?
Who?
The executive branch, right?
Yeah.
So the executive branch has every right to, I don't know, fire everybody in USAID?
No. So we're supposed to have protections against mass firing and purging of government officials. Yes, the executive branch's job. So when it comes to our checks and balances,
the bureaucracy.
You want to let me explain how the government works to you. Let me explain how this shit works. All right. So we don't want let me explain how this shit works, brother. Let me lay some facts on the line for you. Let me lay some facts down for you, brother. Let me say some shit about how the world freaking operates. All right. So how this shit works in the bureaucracy. We do not want a president to be able to purge every single person in the executive branch. We don't want the executive branch to be a dictatorship, to bypass Congress, to do other things that that delegate all power, that have it all wrapped up in only the president. So our bureaucracy is designed to be, of course, there's gonna be people appointed by the political party in power, but we have people in these bureaucracies that are from the Reagan admin, that are from Bush, that are from Clinton, Obama, that are from Trump, that are from Biden. Trump's own appointees are his enemy now because they're not complete loyalists sometimes. His own judges are his enemies now. But the point is, we have all these different ideologies from all these different presidencies in the bureaucracy. We don't want a president to be able to come in and fire literally everyone, because then you have a completely loyalist executive branch. The checks and balances in the executive branch matter a lot. That's why there's a waiting period to fire bureaucrats. There's usually a 30-day waiting period. He purged all the inspectors generals, all the government watchdogs, everyone that monitors corruption. He made corruption more illegal. So there are checks and balances associated with this. And also, the job of the executive, my final point, the job of the executive is to faithfully, to the best of their ability, carry out the laws that Congress passes. They cannot just go and unilaterally shut down departments just because some random asshole says, this has fraud and corruption, after Elon Musk did not prove any fraud or any corruption at all in any of these branches. But that's not even withstanding. That's not even including the fact that it's anti-constitutional or unconstitutional what they're doing.
All right, so every executive order actually had a 30-day holdover, right? Which is, so every executive order that Trump passed that said, I'm going to fire these people, was the 30-day notice, right? Which is what was.
No, they did it overnight. They did it overnight. The courts are forcing it to be 30 days. There's a lawsuit right now. There's a lawsuit from the Inspector Generals.
The Inspector Generals were overnight. The Inspector Generals were overnight.
Yes.
Right? The Inspector
But
Generals,
they were supposed to have 30 days. The Inspector Generals have the 30 days.
Over.
No, he doesn't.
Right?
No, he doesn't. There's a 30-day process that you have to give reasoning. There's a 30-day process. You need to give reasoning for firing them. There's 30-day process for the Inspector Generals. He did it overnight unilaterally. They're suing him now. The Inspector Generals are suing him now because he did not follow the law. They're suing him. What you just said is wrong.
Everything that he has done has been with a 30-day notice up until.
That's not true. That's not true because they're suing him right now. The Inspector Generals are suing him right now because he violated the 30 days.
Everything that Trump's doing is let's find out, right? Like that's the answer to this. Is let's find out. Let's take it to the courts. The 14th Amendment problem. Let's take it to the courts. Let's let the courts decide out. And the worst part about this is people like you do not understand.
They have abandoned multiple court orders. They have disobeyed multiple court orders. It's because people like you don't know shit, and you just have confident statements that you learn because you're a dumbass that reads everything off of Twitter. You have to own up to your shit and learn how the fucking government works. I'm sick of people like you saying that. I'm sick of people like you. I'm sick of people like you. I'm sick of people like you saying this is why liberals lost. When you say the dumbest shit humanly imaginable, you come in here not understanding how anything works. You expect me to hear your shit and be okay with it. No, this is how this country runs. I care about our founding principles. I care about freedom in America. I'm sorry you don't.
Heard a thing I had to say.
Because you're saying bullshit. I gotta fact check you. You're like a bullshit machine.
14th Amendment, and you were like, you know what? I'm gonna just start attacking.
You shit more than a horse pulling a freaking Amish family on a hot day.
And we're going to go to personal insults, right?
How's that a personal insult? Are you a baby? That's normal trash talk, bro. You've never heard that in your entire life. Right? You don't even live around the Amish. Shut up, dude. Stop crying, dude.
Hominem attack.
Ad hominem. Ad hominem. Shut up. Make a point.
I can make a few if you let me speak.
Are you gonna cry about me not letting you speak or actually talk?
I mean, I can talk right now. What I'm saying
is,
like, look at the 14th Amendment argument, right? The 14th Amendment thing where he was sitting there going, you know what? I don't think birthright citizenship is a thing, right? We're not going to go by the law of the land. That's not how it was designed. And he put that into an executive order. And when he was challenged on that and he had to answer to that, he said, look, it's going to be taken up in the courts. I don't think this is how it was supposed to be, but it's going to be taken up in the courts, which means it's going to become the law of the land.
You realize
right?
That's after Trump ignored multiple court orders about spending freezes. That's the first time Trump said he's going to listen to the court on anything. They've been lying. They've been violating courts.
100% prior to any court order coming. The 14th Amendment was the first thing that the Democrats attacked.
No, I'm saying that for the freezes, the federal freezes, the USAID, the federal freezes, inspector generals, the USAID stuff, all that kind of stuff, they've been ignoring when it comes to the federal freezes having to be like reinstate the funding for that kind of stuff. They've been ignoring the judge's authority.
You know, and Andrew Jackson back in the day said the same thing. Was like coming to
yeah, you're a little wind-up doll. You're a wind-up doll. JD Vance told you to say that. Do you have any independent thoughts, or are you just a regurgitation machine? No, because you're a little parrot. Parrot. America voted for this. 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 So Andrew Jackson is one of the most authoritarian asshole leaders we ever had. That led to the Trail of Tears. You realize that it led to one of the most disastrous humanitarian crises we've ever had in America. One of the most the biggest atrocities we ever committed in America.
Any humanitarian crisis, there was no humanitarian crisis during his time.
For Andrew Jackson,
I mean, at this point, we're just continuing to digress. To the point.
Wait. Do you not know what the Trail of Tears is? Do you not know what the Trail of Tears? Trail of Tears is?
I mean, bottom line, end of the day.
Wait. No. And then you just said Andrew Jackson never did. Wait. You realize that was because that was the Trail of Tears, right? You do know that's when he said that, right?
Yes, I understand that was the Trail of Tears. I've read about the Trail of Tears, but again, we're looking at we're digressing back into a time where we're sitting down and going, oh well, America's actually horrible, or America's okay. Or America is good.
Stop making these bullshit emotional arguments. I'm talking about Andrew Jackson. You cited Andrew Jackson ignoring the courts. The reason he ignored it is to do the Trail of Tears and to kick more indigenous people off their land and basically slaughter more of them. And you're saying that we should be referring back 200 years in the past to when we were savages. In 2025, we should refer back to that. So you're okay with bypassing the courts? You're okay with that? You're okay with bypassing the courts? Why do you bring up Andrew Jackson?
The point that I made about Andrew Jackson was he was challenged by the courts and he said enforce it.
What do you think that means?
Precisely what I said it means.
What does it mean? What does enforce it mean then?
It means if you're going to be a court of law and you want to enforce your court at the state level to the federal level, enforce it.
What does that mean, though?
There's a separation from the states, and there's a separation from the federal government. Correct?
Okay, what we're talking about is ignoring the courts.
That is the point, right? That's the point.
You don't know what you're talking about at all. Nothing you're saying right now makes sense. You're saying gibberish.
There are state judges. There are state judges who are telling the federal government to stop.
You realize there's not the
Correct?
court side. Like, you realize the executive is supposed to enforce. Like, that's the point of the executive. So when Andrew Jackson said that, he's essentially saying he doesn't care about checks and balances. So do you not care about checks and balances?
Yes, I care about checks and balances.
Well, obviously not if you're citing this ruling, because Andrew Jackson, okay, ignoring the, what tribe was it? The Cherokee land, ignoring the rules on that, and Andrew Jackson did not use federal power to enforce the ruling, and without the executive branch enforcing it, Georgia ignored it, because you need the executive to be reinforcing the laws that the judicial branch reinforces. When the judicial branch decides if something is constitutional or not, or if they make a decision, it's the executive's job to enforce it. So if Donald Trump's going to be using that argument like J.D. Vance is, they're essentially saying they're not going to listen to the courts. They matter more. They're not going to listen to the courts.
Yes. So the federal government does not listen to the state courts.
But the circuit courts, yes, they do. It's a pause. There's a process of appeals after that, but they do need to listen to the courts. That's how it's always worked. That's how it's worked for 230 years.
The federal government does not listen to state courts, and that's not how it's worked forever.
These are not state courts. They're circuit courts. There's different courts in different states. It doesn't mean they're state courts. These are federal cases being heard at these different circuit courts. It doesn't work like that. There's George Bush appointees. There's Reagan appointees. There's Obama appointees and Trump appointees who have all said what he's doing right now is illegal. Trump literally had someone who he appointed 3 weeks ago resign because he wanted them to do something unconstitutional. 3 weeks ago, he appointed them. They worked for Scalia, and they resigned because Trump is making the biggest attack on the Constitution we've ever seen since Andrew Jackson.
So, again, the state courts do not get to decide.
What do you think this is? Do you hear me or not? Can you hear me talk? It's not a state court. You're hearing federal cases.
It's do not get to decide what he does. All right, because what we're talking about here right now is not how a state's working. This is Andrew Jackson like. This is Andrew Jackson adjacent. You're talking in a situation where they are pausing the federal government from controlling what the federal government controls.
Okay, you know they're not state courts, right? They're not state courts. You know they're not state courts. They're federal courts.
I said that. I said federal courts.
But you just said state courts cannot restrict the executive, but federal courts, if they bypass those rulings, which they have been bypassing federal courts, they have just not listened. They are just saying the Constitution does not matter. They're not going to listen to judicial. And they're not going to have congressional oversight as well. And Congress is ceding their power to the presidency.
Okay, so we're going to talk Constitution. What point are these federal jurisdictions talking Constitution?
They're saying that it needs to be held over.
The Constitution does not state that federal bureaucracies are safe.
Safe
from what?
The federal
bureaucracy that Trump controls, that the executive branch controls. All right? So if the executive branch controls a bureaucracy, then the federal branch of the government gets to control that bureaucracy, yes or no?
Can we say that again?
If the federal branch has a bureaucracy, then the federal branch gets to control that bureaucracy.
They cannot violate the law, though. If they control the bureaucracy, if there's a 30-day waiting period, they cannot violate the law. So when the judge says, "Hey, this violates the 30-day limit that you have when you have to give a waiting period to fire someone," and you haven't had the necessary justification for firing, or you're just unilaterally shutting down full government programs with no plan at all in place, USAID is just being completely shut down. The executive branch and the Constitution should be faithfully executing the laws.
When Dr. Fauci owned Congress.
Why Dr. Fauci? Dr. Fauci's from Ronald Reagan's administration. Why Dr. Fauci? You speak Twitter. You just speak Twitter. I don't speak Twitter. I don't speak Twitter. What language is this? Okay, let me think about it. Okay. America voted for this. America voted for this. America voted for this. Okay, what do you say? I said to do some parrot topics from Twitter.
I mean, have you
Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci. You're like parrots. America voted for this. America voted for this. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci.
No,
Dr. Fauci.
Have you ever watched a congressional hearing?
Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci.
I mean, again, have you watched a congressional hearing?
Have you watched a You don't know how the basic government works, brother. You just don't know how it works. Or you're okay with it. You're okay with it.
So we're not talking about the government. We're talking about the bureaucracy, right? Do you understand?
Oh, yeah, the bureaucracy is not a part of the government, bro.
No, it's not. But
are you saying the executive branch should be able to do anything they want?
Well, who controls the bureaucracy, right?
You are okay. What the executive branch does is still governed by laws. There's still laws in the executive. Do you think the executive branch should not be held to any laws or courts? Do you think the executive branch should not be held to any laws? Should they be able to do whatever they want to any bureaucrat?
And you have a computer in front of you right now, right? I don't have a computer in front of me right now. I'm calling you on the phone. I don't have a computer. Who is in charge of USAID? What branch of the government is in charge of USAID?
Okay, if you keep looping like this, I'm gonna have to go to a different caller. I'm talking about. Okay, are you gonna say the executive branch?
I'm asking you.
Are you gonna say the executive branch?
Tell you. I'm asking.
Are you gonna say the executive branch?
I'm asking you. You have a computer in front of you. Why don't you show everybody who we're talking to who runs USAID?
Who runs it?
Or the U.S. Department of Education?
Who runs it?
Or any other department?
Who runs it?
And after you figure that out, after you
figure that out, okay, tell me why they could violate laws. Do you think there's any laws that can hold them accountable? Are there any laws that can hold them accountable? Are there any laws? Are the executive held by any laws?
I made a mistake. I'm very sorry I made a mistake. Because I don't mean once you find that out, I believe you know. Right? But once you show your callers this, once you show everybody that's listening to you,
bro, do you think the executive branch is held by any laws? Do you think if you don't talk to me, I'm gonna hang up? No, answer my conversation question. We've done this before. Do you believe the executive branch is held and bound by any laws?
Yes.
Okay, so if they do something, it can be challenged in courts.
Yes.
Okay, so if, for example, there's a 30-day period for like firing someone, it's a law Congress wrote, and Trump just like purges inspectors generals overnight. A lot of these are post-Watergate reforms. If Trump purges them overnight and it goes to a federal court, or if he pauses like funding for an entire agency or removes an agency without going to Congress, and it goes to federal court, and that court says, hey, we're going to put a pause on this. You have to reinstate the funding until we can go to other courts so you can make appeals on these standards. Does the executive branch need to listen to the court that says that?
No.
Okay, then you just don't believe in checks and balances. That's fine.
No, I believe in checks and balances. 100%.
No, you don't. If you don't think the federal court should, you just gave away the game there. That's all that matters. That's the entire conversation.
You can tell me I don't all you want, but the challenge that you're running into is we're not talking about constitutional branches of the government. The Constitution only protects constitutional branches of government, i.e., the judicial, Congress.
The federal court system is all protected. The executive branch needs to follow the federal court orders. It still is the federal court orders. It still counts.
No. That's
oh my God, you just don't know what you're talking about, dude. Right. You don't know what you're talking about.
Executive branch needs to follow court orders that pertain to the Constitution. That is what the judicial.
You need to follow federal court orders regardless. Congress makes federal courts. It's co-equal. The judiciary is a co-equal branch of government. It's not just the Supreme Court. It's all federal courts. Obama had issues. Joe Biden had issues with like student loan debt. They still listened to the court orders.
And that's the challenge you're running into, right? Is what you don't understand is Congress created the bureaucracy and put.
It's an anti-corruption measure. It's an anti-corruption measure. It was after Watergate, especially. It was an anti-corruption measure to make sure the executive branch could not be corrupted and be controlled by one singular person. It's an anti-king measure.
Again, so you've got to look at the bureaucracy, right? The ATF, the FBI, right?
Bureaucracy.
All right, let's talk about the FBI under Ness.
I'm concerned that you just don't believe that the federal courts have jurisdiction over like to pause executive action. Like if the federal court blocks something, like you really don't think they need to listen to it. It's just insane. Like,
but I don't believe the federal court has any jurisdiction over the bureaucracy that was created by.
Oh my God! Stop saying bureaucracy. Talk about executive branch. It's all inclusive. It's the presidential executive orders, the actions to shut down agencies that's being blocked by federal courts. Literal Republicans in Congress are saying that this is illegal. Thune said this is illegal. Congress has said this is illegal. Republican congressmen have said they know it's illegal. It's unconstitutional, but they don't care. They're literally giving the game away. They just don't care. They want the executive branch. They want Trump to be like a king. That's the goal of unitary executive theory. And you're okay with it. That's what you already admit that. You admit that.
No, I didn't admit that.
Yeah, you did. I asked you all the questions. You have to skirt around the issue. You have to talk about other stuff to get away from it.
Again, You're talking about a straw man. What I said was Congress
man.
created the bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy. Can you
under
stop saying
the
bureaucracy,
executive
dude? You say
branch.
bureaucracy every other word. Make other points. Holy crap. Stop saying bureaucracy, 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 Barack Obama, bureaucracy. Make points about the executive, judicial, and Congress.
Created the ATF. The ATF fell under the executive branch. As Congress created the ATF that fell under the executive branch had authority to monitor the ATF.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
ATF has failed over and over and over again. And a good Democrat would tell us that the ATF has failed us over and over again.
How did it fail you?
Looking at Waco, Texas.
How did it fail you?
I said any good Democrat would tell us that the ATF failed us over and over again looking at Waco, Texas. Looking at Fast and the Furious.
If you have an issue with these departments, it should be done, okay? Congress should pass a law to reform them. It should not be unilateral by the president. The president, the executive, is supposed to faithfully carry out the laws passed by Congress. And they can do it in different ways,
Congress
sure.
created the ATF, right?
What? What are you saying?
Created the ATF. It gave the authority.
Oh my God! I'm talking to someone else. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing the loop again. I'm not doing the loop. He admit he is okay with no checks and balances. He's not gonna stay on that conversation. He'll keep on bringing up bureaucracy and other stuff. The bureaucracy, the ATF, the bureaucracy, the ATF, the bureaucracy. It's like, bro. I'm saying a claim such as, okay, well, if you have an issue with ATF, Congress should pass a law to make it more direct on what the ATF should do. Much of the time, if there is an agency in the government doing something you don't like, it's not because that agency is like inherently evil, okay? It might be because the laws passed by Congress are not clear enough. If Congress wants it to change, if the American people want it to change, it should go through Congress. That's the point of checks and balances, okay? The executive branch should not be able to unilaterally change the entire policy of the U.S. They should not be able to ignore any laws and do any policies at all. That is a king, okay? We have our checks and balances in America because we wanted to escape monarchy. We wanted to escape a king. That's the point of not having a king. We have checks and balances to make sure we don't have a king. The change might not always be fast, okay? But that's why you need to elect different people in Congress and pressure your Congress people to make different decisions. That's the main point. Thank you for dropping a like and subscribing. Yeah, they still have to follow the law. Good point, Blonde. Thank you for $10, Alex. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you. Please check out link to DOGE Treasury Court Docs in chat. Thank you for $5, Robert. If Robert, you're still here, go to our Discord. Join our Discord. It's on under one of my regular videos. There's Discord links in the description, so you can go there and get the Discord link and join. One of the mods can drop the Discord link in chat for anyone who wants to join. I can actually drop it in real quick. Thank you for dropping a like, subscribing. Thank you for the donations. Really appreciate it. That guy was fun. Bureaucracy. Low. Thank you for becoming a supporter. Sari, gifting 1 membership. I don't know if I thanked you. Thank you, Sheila, for $2. Another American for 10. So thank you, Connor, for becoming a channel member. I have to update my members. It's only $3 a month. Okay? Channel memberships are $3 a month. You see me having these painful conversations, okay? $3 a month, you could save me. $3 a month channel memberships for YouTube. Make your name green, have an emote, okay? And also, Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. Jolah Politics. Best place for random donations. You can leave a little message for me. But if you want to call in, you can skip ahead of the line by donating $10 to one of those areas, okay? Donating $10 to Jolah Politics on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal with your first name and your phone number, and I will call you. You'll move to first place in the line. You'll be the next person I talk to. Number 1. Numero uno. Thank you for $5. GU are the initials from earlier. You did not include a phone number, so I believe you don't want to call in, but thank you for $5. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Responding with a heart emoji. Thank you. If you want to donate through debit card or through credit card, also there's a link in bio. A link in my bio with a coffee link. You could donate through there as well. All right, one more caller for tonight. The best part is there's 4 years of this. True. Yeah. I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but yeah, that's the best part, baby. We're at 20,000 subscribers and 20,500 subscribers. And we also have more channel memberships. Okay, let me put my channel membership number back up. Our next goal is 250. We gained 6 today. So we're at 127 channel members. Thank you so much. The ultimate goal is 1,000. Open your line, but I'd love to talk for a minute. Thank you for $10, Montgomery. I will say that I will open the line. I'm sorry. Thank you for $10 for supporting the show. But I only do the calls if you do $10 through Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo, because then you can message me privately your first name and your phone number. Because I have like 500 people calling, and I'm not going to like shift through a bunch of emails or text messages or phone numbers. So it's only through Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo for me to guarantee you a call. I am opening up the call lines, though, so you can try to call in a second. All right, I'm sorry if I don't get to you. I appreciate the donation, but it's just how we got to do things around here. The channel's getting too big for me to look through everything. But I really appreciate $10, Montgomery. The luck. Okay. Possibly more. Yeah, the caller does not agree with the law. Andrew Jackson is my example for how American democracy should be done.
Call to accept.
Hello.
Yo, what's up, Jolah?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing good. Trump is horrible. Prove you wrong. I don't think I'm going to be able to prove you wrong. But what do you think are the main things why Trump is horrible?
A few of the recent things. He's not only like removing funding from Ukraine, but he's actively helping Russia seize territory, legitimizing it, and he wants to extract resources from Ukraine. He wants to barrel through Palestine and grab the land there and do a full ethnic cleansing of the region to make hotels.
Don't you think that's
casinos.
a little extreme? It's hard to cut you off. Don't you think that's a little extreme way to put it? I would agree. What he's doing in Ukraine is terrible. Well, he did not say he wants to do an ethnic cleansing, and I'm not trying to go up to bat for Trump, but
but that's what he wants to do, though. He didn't say that, but he wants to kick everyone out and build hotels there instead. He said the Palestinians will never be allowed to return. He said that's literally what that is. I mean, he doesn't. He doesn't.
I thought we were talking about Ukraine. No,
we're
talking about
Palestine.
Gaza, yeah.
Palestine, Gaza. Yeah. No. Ukraine. They want to beat up, extract the resources, and give Russia what they want. But also he made corruption more legal. It's now legal for Americans to bribe foreign agents with money. He made it legal to bribe his cabinet members with big gifts. He wants to lower the tax rates for the ultra wealthy. He wants to eliminate the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is a really good agency. That's who you call if your bank defrauds you. He wants to eliminate that. It costs like no money to run, but he wants to eliminate it. He is killing it without consent from Congress, violating checks and balances. So yeah, there's a lot of. I can't think of one thing he's done that's been good, unless if you're angry about gay people or black people and you're happy about being like those people are happy. The dumb people who are just like the pronouns made me oppressed. Those people are living right now. Those people are living the dream.
Oh, wait, I would agree with that. Yeah, that was just we had a misunderstanding. I thought you were talking about Ukraine. I was like, yeah, he hasn't been super great on Ukraine, and Zelensky's even talked about this.
It's like not yet. Tomorrow though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but if you're talking about Gaza and stuff, yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with what you're saying. But yeah, it hasn't been great, and USAID, it's totally. I even have people in my life that I've spoken to about and they're directly affected by some of the cut funding, especially Medicaid. Even though that was proved to be unconstitutional and was rolled back, he still froze the account for a while. And farmers are now struggling because they froze a lot of the aid that was coming to farmers. And that was part of the Inflation Reduction Act through Biden. But people don't want to talk about that, right?
It's crazy, though. They're saying to their constituents, Republican congressmen are saying to their farmers, like, sorry, it's tough, but, like, we ought to do this. Like, it's going to be rough for a while. It's like, bro, they are in a cult. They're in the cult, and they're scared to be against the cult. Probably for physical safety, too, to be honest. Probably for physical safety and also political safety.
Probably. Well, yeah, I think, honestly, I'm just waiting until we get to the full fascist playbook. I'm waiting for it to happen.
Yeah. I'm waiting to have like a random federal agent at my door just to do like a quote unquote check to try and make sure that I don't talk too bad about Trump. And that does happen.
Well, exactly. You'd be more on the board than me, and I think that might be a little extreme, but you're more on the board than me. You have this whole show and everything.
Bro. We have Hungary, we have Russia, we have the examples. We know what stage we're in. We're accelerating faster than we even thought. Like this is quicker than we ever thought it would be.
Oh, it's definitely spooky.
And some
man.
Americans love it too. Some Americans love it, and the reason they love it is because they believe that all the scientists and doctors and professors in the world are lying to them, all right? All these scientists that found out climate and all that shit, they're lying to them. All we need right now was the populist billionaire, the richest man of all time, to come expose the blatant corruption of our teachers, bro. The teachers are corrupt. The bureaucrats are corrupt. The savior of humanity is the richest man of all time, Elon Musk. He loves us. He cares about the working class. It's like, how much of a dumb Musk muncher simp do you need to be, bro? Like, how much of a subservient little pathetic little follower asshole do you need to be so weak and pathetic that you can't even go outside and advocate for yourself? And I think it's a lack of confidence from these people. They don't have any confidence. They don't think they can learn anything, so they have to hand it off to the big guy in the sky to make liberals mad for them. But I hope they toughen up and actually understand their shit eventually. If you heard that last caller at all.
I totally understand what you're saying there. I don't know why too, and a lot of conservatives talk about George Soros and all these rich billionaires. Why are the billionaires that save?
Well, George Soros is Jewish, and it's a conspiracy theory about Jews. That's probably why they like talking about him so much.
Well, yeah, I don't even know if it's necessarily that. I'm just saying, why do they care so? They care so much about billionaires until it affects their party, and then they don't care anymore.
No, they want corruption. They just don't like it if it's against them. So like they're more corrupt than anyone else in society. But they just want the corruption on their side, and then they're gonna go 100% with it. So like Democrats hold themselves back a little bit. We do some reforms. We make sure but Democrats make sure they have like a good handle on the system. They do some regulation at least. They protect consumers a little bit for stability. They support like progressive social policies. Like civil rights and everything, but like ultimately, when it comes to Republicans, they're 100% just on board with doing like really shitty things if they get power. And they blame Joe Biden. They said Joe Biden was corrupt. Joe Biden literally held himself back. He kept like Trump's FBI director. He held like Trump's DOJ that investigated him. Like Joe Biden was like,
kept his tax cuts. He kept the tariffs on China.
He tried increasing taxes on only the wealthy and keeping them down for the middle class. He still did the tariffs. He increased American manufacturing infrastructure. He did Trump's presidency better than Trump did, but he supported gay and black people, and it was post-COVID. So he got hurt by the inflation.
A big thing.
Those are the three factors why they lost. COVID, black people, trans people, COVID inflation that he did not cause, and a lack of messaging.
It's a big thing that I've been seeing there, too. I don't know why it's
and Biden was dying, too. He was also dying, but that's okay.
He was like an Alzheimer patient. I'm not trying to play ball out here for fucking Biden, but I'm saying if you want to talk about fucking things that were actually being done in a more reasonable manner, Biden was lowering inflation, even if it was slowly. It was slowly but surely happening, right? It was a more logical thing. And then if you want to talk about inflation now under Trump, now it's going to be more of a back and forth game, and maybe inflation will even be lower. I don't think that'll be true in the long run, but we'll have to see how it plays out. No, it's a way different ball game. Biden definitely was the establishment Democrat, right? He was the generic establishment Democrat, and that is annoying. And I wish we didn't have that. And I wish we didn't have this crazy Republican Party either, because I definitely think the Republican Party has been totally hijacked by these radical people.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Like Biden was fine with domestic policies. Bernie Sanders loves him for a reason. He did the best domestic policy for American workers in like 50 years. Like the labor board, the trust busting, the FTC, the regulations in general, trying to crack down on monopolies and whatever, like what they did after Trump. Did.
How did he try to crack down on monopolies? I'm going to hit you on that right there. Explain that to me, because I don't.
Much more than Republicans, but I have to look up everything the FTC did. I just know in general that Joe Biden was the most pro-labor president in 50 years, and we can look up union policies and crossing and walking a picket line and that kind of stuff. But like in general, like still the comparison between like Biden or Kamala versus Trump, I don't care if it's freaking Joe Manchin or whatever. Like,
I'm not-
there's no reason
I'm not
Trump
even
would ever
doing that,
win in a
though.
reasonable country. No, I know.
Okay, yeah.
Biden
We're
was
on
too old,
we're
too.
on a similar page then.
Biden's not a
'cause
messenger.
I'm
He
like,
couldn't message. He could not speak. The biggest part about being a politician is speaking. You have to be convincing and motivational. They don't even do the policies. You think Biden or Trump is out there commanding like actual airstrikes? No. Like they're puppets. And like it depends who they hire. Like you're voting for the entire regime. You're voting for the entire administration and who's going to be around them. And the people around Biden were capable. But Biden left with an historically low like approval rating because he could not speak and he was dying. And he still decided to run again. That's the worst blunder I've
that
ever
was
seen.
the problem. Yeah, because honestly, I think Kamala would have had a way better chance because she had a lot of good policies.
She had like a month to run a president campaign.
Yeah, and that's something that I always found confusing too when Republicans are talking. She had no policies, and it's like no, she had grants for small businesses. She had grants. What wasn't a grant? She had whatever you would call it, stimulus for people, first-time childbearing couples and stuff like this. This was very. I feel like this is very normal things that most normal people would want, but. Of course, if you only have a month, you don't really have much time to run a campaign. It creates a problem. And yeah, and I definitely think Biden too. If you want to go back into Biden's fucking history, I mean, he did the crime bill. He was very integral into the crime bill, and I know everybody talks about that, but I feel like that's very fucking important. He literally called black people super predators, bro.
I don't know if I care much about that because black people supported that bill too at the time. Like a lot of black communities supported that bill because there was an issue with
a lot of black people support Trump. So in your
no,
own
I mean
words,
like a majority. I mean like a strong majority of black people supported that bill because black people care a lot about crime as well. Like they like from the cities that it affected the most.
But
Even if
you
think
can
it's bad
also
policy.
you can swing the way of bills how bills are sold, right, to the average person. Do you really think they wanted to be randomly searched and patted down and stuff? This very much affected New York City, and they had to change. It's basically it was the stop and
and
frisk
Biden
policy
never said
to
super
the extreme.
predator.
No, dude, he
Hillary
endorsed
Clinton.
that bill, though. Yeah, I know that was Hillary, but I'm saying he endorsed that bill. He was endorsing Hillary. He was,
No, I'm just saying the super predator. The super predator thing is not true though. The idea that he called him that. Yeah. I don't-
Okay.
Yeah, that's just not
Sure,
true. That was a
sure.
Trump
He didn't
lie.
use those.
Trump lied about
he
that.
didn't use those exact. It's not Trump lied about it, dude. I'm not even.
No, he started
Trump,
that
bro.
lie. No, I'm not saying you're a Trump fan. I'm saying Trump is the source of the disinformation that you heard. Like, and the bill in general.
No, Trump is not the source of the. That has been going around for years and years. That has nothing to do with Trump, brother.
Trump pushed it to a. Okay, when I say source, I mean it started somewhere and was boosted somewhere. Trump was the one that boosted that lie to the mainstream, and that's why media outlets picked it up. I'm not saying you heard it from them or you heard it from like whatever source. I don't know where you heard it, but I'm just saying in general, Trump is the one that boosted that. Just like he boosted Barack Obama not being born in America when that was just like a white supremacist lie.
Oh, come
Trump still boosted it.
on. Yeah, the Barack Obama thing is insane, but I feel like you're trying to hit me with a gotcha here, and I'm like, oh, come on, bro.
It's not a
Like,
gotcha.
there's been-
I'm just saying that these things are framed in a really bad way and in a very propagandized way.
How am I feel like you're framing it in a propagandized way because
I'm just saying the
Joe
actual quote.
Biden
I'm
was very
fact-checking.
anti-black. Joe Biden was very anti-black. Like I'm agreeing
Yeah,
with
he
you,
wasn't though.
brother.
He really wasn't. He wasn't.
He was. Well, okay. Okay.
For the time, no, he was not anti-black.
For the time, oh my gosh, that doesn't sound great though. Don't you understand how that doesn't sound great?
He was a typical.
What for the
moderate Democrat.
'90s? But yeah, and the moderate Democrats were not.
He made some
super-
weird comments about race in like the 70s, at like on like 2 occasions. But other than that, like I would not say he's bad on like race. He supported policies that were bad, but like in 1994, that was the wave. That was post Reagan. Clinton wanted to be all big and tough, and yeah, they were supporting that. The Democrats became moderate Republican light. So it was just I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe we're just on a different wave here, but you were saying the 70s and now we're on the 90s. I'm getting a bit confused, man. But
That's all right.
I would say, sure, if you want to say Joe Biden is doesn't have any racial prejudice, sure, I'm down
I'm
for
not saying
that.
he
Or
has
if you want
zero. I'm not saying he has zero. I'm just saying in comparison to the time and like I'm just saying he did not call black people super predators or like attack the black community. He supported the bill that everyone supported nationwide, black communities included. Even if it had bad repercussions, it's not like Joe Biden is this uniquely racist person at the time. There's like Trump at the time was trying to jail the Central Park Five with his full page ads. in
Oh,
the
come on.
newspaper,
No,
national
no,
pages.
no, no. But Trump was not in government.
Whatever, dude. Don't watch my channel. You could have fun. I'm gonna call the person that donated. Thank you for the donation. We're talking about racial prejudice. I don't care if you're in government. You're a billionaire using your money to like. Howdy, what's up, man?
Not much. I'm just listening to your channel. I just wanted some clarification on a couple things, just because I'm not really into the weeds, into the politics. I mean, I'm into the politics, but I'm not into the weeds of a lot of the constitutional stuff as much as I'd like to be. So I guess my question to you is if everything that's being done right now is unconstitutional, which I do agree a little bit of it. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I just had pneumonia.
You're good.
But if it's all unconstitutional, how would we go about rooting out corruption just as on its face, not corruption on the right, corruption on the left? Just how would we go about that? Because there's probably a lot of disingenuous stuff that's going around, but on its face, it seems like there is a lot of waste in government in general.
Getting money out of politics is the number one thing we need to do. The only person really serious about that is probably Bernie Sanders and probably AOC and a couple other like really progressive Democrats. And maybe Josh Hawley proposed it. I don't know if he's really serious about it though. And waste and fraud in the government is not our issue. It's the ultra wealthy exploiting the government and exploiting poor people. That's the waste and fraud we need to cut down on, and tax loopholes, and just in general corporate fraud. Anyone blaming the bureaucracy or DEI has been fully propagandized. They're believing the most emotional topics possible. They're getting mad at liberals. They don't really know why they're doing it. But I mean, along with that is going to come like they want to cut Medicaid. They want to cut all these other programs. So as far as like moving forward in general with corruption, this is by far the most corrupt America has ever been. We openly are now having our DOJ make a deal with like Eric Adams, New York City, to drop his charges, literally saying explicitly in the memo that it's a quid pro quo, pretty much, that we gave him the option. If he follows through with our immigration policies, we won't put him in jail, which means they have that over Eric Adams for the duration of him being mayor. So they're literally just striking a deal publicly, the most blatant form of corruption of all time. But it's weird because if you tell someone a story about corruption and you make it super sensational, they freak out. But we're having significant democratic backsliding. We're going into an authoritarian government, and no one can feel it yet because you don't really feel it. You don't feel it. That's why you learn history. You don't really feel these things until it gets really bad. Yeah, like you don't call it a Holocaust until it happens. You don't call the Palestinian. You don't call Gaza a genocide until until it gets that bad. And someone said to me like, well, if Trump's a fascist, where are the death camps? And I'm like, you realize like Nazi Germany getting to that point took like 15 years. Like it took like 20 years for Hitler to have the first coup, and then he got released with his buddies. And then he became
Hitler
chancellor,
was loved
and then he had brown
by the people
shirts.
of Germany.
Yeah, he had brown shirts, just like Trump pardoned all the January 6 people. I'm not saying it's perfectly adjacent, but like Mao had his own brown shirts. I forget what they were called, but Mussolini did. They always have these militia groups on the outside to also serve as that like other force in government. So like the big thing right now is if Americans are not going to feel what's happening right now and think it's bad, and obviously if Trump won after January 6, Americans are not touched into that. They're not tapped into what any of this means. So right now we need Americans to feel the pain, not in a bad, like not in a terrible way, just enough to feel it, to get really soured on the Republican Party to the point where Republican politicians get scared to keep on being Trump's little sycophantic baby loyalists. We need enough people to turn against Republicans to where they think they're going to lose their seats, because I think they might be confident that they can screw elections enough in America to win. Like they genuinely do believe they could F up this country as much as possible, and make it a barely functioning democracy like Hungary. Not quite Russia, but close to Hungary. And that's J.D. Vance's number one political model that he talked about. was wanting to be like Hungary. So the only thing we could do, keep on organizing, keep on informing people. It would be great if the Democratic Party had an actual backbone and a message so I can actually advocate for the party. But no, they have Hakeem Jeffries talking about like, well, I don't even know what we can do. It's like, imagine having one popular policy I could talk about, just one policy I can talk about. Put the Trump supporters or put Trump on defense a little bit instead of just expecting the American people to understand something, provide a counter narrative. So yeah, moving forward, we just have to hope something happens where the American people finally, understand the what's really happening right now. And what's it called, the great size of the problem ahead of us.
So, I mean, not to give Trump more credit than he deserves, but he definitely rallied a large fucking majority of people. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. A large majority of people
I cursed today by accident too.
under that idea that we're gonna root out corruption, yada yada yada. So I do believe that is what America wants. I just think Trump is the only one giving that message out.
Yeah, well, Bernie tried.
Which is why he's you can say whatever you want and then get in office and do whatever you want, So
Bernie tried telling us. Bernie tried doing it.
he did, and then the Democrats, pushed him out. You had Bill Clinton going and blocking. By virtue of just having a presidential detail blocking signatures for Bernie Sanders. So I think it's the machine in general, and I think Trump is a part of the machine. Just, I'm doing this great thing for you, but on the backside he's filling his pockets, and it's not. But like, I wish this is going to sound weird, but I wish there was a world in which you could have what Trump is actually talking about wanting to do, and it actually does happen. What he's trying to bait his supporters into, like, oh, we need to stop, paying X amount of dollars for whatever and whatever, because you can go into the minutia of, oh, it wasn't condoms in Gaza, but $50 million did go somewhere for something.
Yeah, they're still mad about that. So that's what they do. They lie first, and then when you correct them, they're still mad about it. They're just anti-government radicals. They don't understand like how stable the country is, how stable the world is, and what it took to get us here. They have forgotten it. All the people that fought in World War II have died now, or most of them. I think like 99% of World War II vets have died now. We forgot the lessons of why we have NATO, why we need global stability. We forgot, like, we take for granted the clean air and clean water and clean food, and we take for granted all the diseases that are not here anymore. So people get mad like, I don't want to take the little pokey vaccine. I saw on the internet that it's dangerous, and all the people have vaccine injuries. And it's like okay, buddy, you need to take some vaccines, and we need to help each other. Sometimes we have to help other countries. The world is a big place, but we're all interconnected. It's like they just don't get it. We have the privilege in America to forget how it feels like to truly struggle. And I don't mean struggle in a sense of, oh no, I feel depressed, I can't find a job. Even if you are, I've been below poverty line level. Even if you are extremely poor and struggling, you are still there's still no reason to say we need to topple the entire system like this. The current reaction in America is from privilege. It's from people just getting like mad like little babies. The main thing I hear from Trump supporters is, you guys are just mad that your side lost. They think it's a big game. They think it's a big Super Bowl party. They don't understand how anything works. They're gonna have to find out soon. And that's my biggest goal, is to I want to talk stern to people, because you need to talk stern. They respect strength.
Right. Talk
stern and like talk to them like you're disappointed, because I am disappointed. Give them the resources they need to know better. But like this right here, I just pulled up a Twitter thread of Sean Hannity with that Haba girl from Trump, that one really spray tan girl. And Hannity said, the president doesn't take a paycheck. He's losing money. I would argue almost everyone you see in that White House is not making money. They do. We don't, she says, from the White House. And it's so like Trump literally made billions from the meme coin. He made it legal for his cabinet to take gifts and to get bribed. They lie about literally everything. But that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
If they can't tell the truth. They cannot say the truth, because if they say the truth once, it breaks their followers' like brain cult mentality.
Their brains are going to the snow globe. Yeah.
Everything needs to be a lie. Everything. They need to lie about even the smallest stuff needs to be a lie, or it breaks through, and it needs to be a lie because it's consistent with the cult reality they develop. So how do we pop enough bubbles, and also how do we get more people involved that think politics will not affect them, or that is turned off from politics right now?
Yeah, because personally, it just seems like it is a big game, and it seems like they're playing games with our lives. And I like I want to be involved in it. It just feels like the game is too big to play. You know, it feels like no matter what you do, you're going to be attacked, whether it's on the right or the left, and it's going to be, you know, things that aren't relevant to the conversation get brought up, and then boom, now we're arguing about the border, and it's like, well, the border's not making eggs, you know, $9 a fucking carton right now. The massive, like, for me, it goes back to bureaucracy. I know you've said a couple of times that bureaucracy is the check on you know, the governmental power, because it should be a washed, you know, system where you have people from both sides over their lifetime and lifetime public servants.
Yeah.
But it just feels like everything is so big and so cumbersome that it can't run efficiently. So that, like, I can see why, you know, a gotcha moment, you know, Department of Government Efficiency sounds real good on its face.
It's all branding.
And yeah, it's really good marketing and really good branding, and that's what people are falling behind. And so when people say, oh, you know, this is what the country voted for, well, yeah, that's what they voted for, but that's not what they're getting.
And the country does not know what they voted for. They voted for just like broad slogans. They voted mostly to get rid of the pronouns and stuff, and they're mad about it. And that's usually what leads to authoritarian countries, is they give dumb people, evil people power. But like that's the appeal I make to Democrats, is like, I can make arguments about how bureaucracy functions and make those appeals. I definitely do. But I also need those like lower level appeals where it's like, you know, I need to be popular, okay? They vote for me because I'm popular. They don't vote for me because they understand bureaucracy, but they think I'm going to fight for them, and they know I'm going to fight for them. And through my power I get from, like FDR, through the power I get from being popular and making it clear what side I'm on, through that power I will establish a more fair government and fix these issues. Because just appealing to democratic norms and the foundation of America, like Hakeem Jeffries does, is not going to be the solution to actually getting this stuff done.
Yeah. You can give something lip service all you do, and then when you get in power and you know, line your pockets, like it's
yeah.
Like I feel like they're taking, you know, every lie has a little bit of truth into it, so I feel like they're taking a little bit of truth, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, Congress is inefficient with their money, and this is what they're doing with it, and it sensationalizes people. It's like, yeah, no, we need to get rid of USAID. What do they do for us?
And it's all based off a lie. It's all based off lies. It's so sad.
Exactly, and it's
oh
frustrating.
I can't explain it to people too, because like their tax dollars. Like if you look at like $100 million going somewhere, and it's like, okay, so much money. It's like, okay, well, like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, for $2 per person in America, we had something to regulate big companies and to return money to the American people for $2 each. And our tax system is progressive. So rich people pay by far most of the taxes. So when it comes to the average American, like, I don't want my tax dollars going to this. It's like, bro, your tax dollars are barely going to providing your life. You are getting government money. You're getting money back from the government if you make less than $150,000 a year. You're getting money back from the government. You're not really paying. You're not even paying. You're not paying into the system until you make like over 400,000 or 500,000, because your tax rate if you're poor is going to be lower in a progressive sense. From the roads that you drive on.
Maybe I'm just doing my taxes wrong, but I've never. I'm a single filer, so I never get money back. I make about.
Oh no, I mean money back in sense of value. So like they say, where are my tax dollars going?
Value given.
And it's like,
okay,
yeah, definitely. So like our national defense, our clean air, clean water, clean food, the roads and bridges we drive on every day, the shipping processes, the infrastructure that supports our lives, the air network that we could fly anywhere in the world basically with like 99.999% safety rate.
I thought you were meaning like we don't pay.
No, but like no, Americans don't understand that. I'll see someone that makes $30,000 a year or $40,000 saying, I don't want my tax dollars going to Ukraine. It's like, bro, your tax dollars are going nowhere.
You paid $3,000.
Your tax dollars are barely going into the. Your tax dollars are barely going to the road that you live on, bro. Your tax dollars cannot pay for the red light that you stop at in the day, like during the day. Even a red light costs like $20,000 to put up. Like Americans are so entitled. We have a small government in the U.S., by the way. Like compared to countries that are better, like in the EU or Canada, where they have really high happiness and stuff, our government's extremely small. It's big because we're a big country, but our government is a small government, relatively speaking, when it comes to regulating big corporations.
To the
And that's
populace,
probably that's the thing. The issues about the corporations the issues the corporations cause us, those problems are blamed on the government. So the pharmaceutical companies that mess up, the oil companies that mess up. I had someone call in and say they got laid off by an oil company under Biden and blame Biden for it. And I'm like, we had all-time high numbers under Biden drilling. And I'm like, why are you not blaming the company? Why do you blame the politicians for the company, like the company that fired you? Blame the CEOs, blame the corporate profits. Don't blame every politician for everything. Like, they want you to blame politicians. They don't want you blaming the people actually causing the problems. Like,
yeah, if you can divert the shit, like that's information war 101. Don't blame me. Look at this person over here that I can offload all your problems to. We have to fire people because unions are such a big problem. It's like, well, you're making 30% margins on stuff, and they're asking for 2% of that. Like,
Yeah, it's like these people own your house. They own your kids, basically. They tell you if your kids are allowed to go to school or to see a doctor. They tell you everything about your life. They are your owners. You should not be, like, worshiping them. Like, they're your owners. They're in control of our lives. They own everything in the world. We don't have a vote in what they say or what they do. We only have a vote in the government. When they say get rid of government or get rid of bureaucracy or get rid of unions, they're doing that because they want to get rid of everything that holds them accountable and prevents corruption. They want to get rid of everything that stops corruption. Yeah, and they sell it to the American people with all this propaganda, and the American people believe it. And even now with like the egg prices going so high, Trump supporters don't care. I predicted they would not, because a lot of Trump supporters I know for a fact, that's crazy. I know for a fact, sorry, one of the Project 2025 people, they found that he follows a porn star on Instagram accidentally. Oh, it's so funny. That's so funny. That's hilarious, because he wants to ban porn, but he follows a porn star, and oh my god, that's so funny.
Which means he was searching for it.
But yeah,
because that's how it came up into a feed.
I predicted the egg prices would not affect people. People that I know that complain about egg prices, and they're like, I can't feed my family. It's like it got 50 times worse.
Are you feeding them just eggs?
Yeah, no, but even like right now, they stopped complaining though. They complained under Biden, now they stopped complaining. The Republican sentiment of the economy went to like 90% positive. It was at 10% under Biden. The moment Trump won, it went to 90% positive. They literally just play team sports. Like, it's so,
Excuse me. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Do you have anything else to finish up on? I appreciate you donating to the channel.
Absolutely. I wanted to pick your brain because I'm generally a conservative minded person, but all of it, like you said, it seems like a cult following, and it's like that's not what he's doing. And
this is not conservatism.
No, it's not. And it's not constitutionalism. It's like you said, that he's trying to consolidate power. And to your second to last caller's point, oh, well, he has the right to do that. Yeah, he has the right to do that following the laws he has to follow. He can't just get in and say, oh, yep, you're all gone. Like, if he wanted to do that, there's a legal way to do it. It just doesn't seem, when he's looking for things where they're not going to be, or telling the American public he's looking for things, getting them all riled up. And it's like, well, what do you can't win for losing, because one party's message is, that we're working for the American people, and the other one's is we're working for the American people. And it doesn't seem like, whoever you listen to, it's like, oh, the world is falling. It's like, well, I can't.
Yeah. It's hard. It's really hard. Politics is challenging. No one's ever happy with any choice ever in any election. Typically, every election in human history is a lesser of two evils. But I would just say, right now we are fighting for the basic tenets of a republic. We are regressing past the point of republic. We're regressing to something far worse. So like Hungary level dictatorship, or not dictatorship, but authoritarianism. Because they're not really a dictatorship, but they basically are. There's a lot of state oppression, and that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do here explicitly. You read anything they talk about, they want dictatorships. They want ultimate power by the rich techno gods. And I'm really scared because we're at the turning point in history.
What's that?
We're at a turning point in history where, like, there's other revolutions historically, in like France, or Italy, or Germany, or wherever. You have these revolutions, But it's a scary point with AI surveillance and all these other tools of the prospects of having a global alliance that is completely anti-democratic, and they essentially have learned how to social engineer to the point where they can prevent a revolution from ever happening again. And that's a really scary place to be in, like a permanent underclass, permanent overclass, and no power struggle. And we want to make sure we break the system, what it's going to before those changes happen. But yeah, they don't love America. They're pro-Russian, which is like Ronald Reagan would be called a liberal today. Even with how he spoke about immigrants and how he spoke about Russia, he'd be called a liberal today. Trump appointed judges from weeks ago are leaving already because they're realizing, like, holy shit, this guy actually is a dictator. Trump appointed judges from weeks ago. He argues with his own policies from 2017, 2018, but people they're not, they just aren't informed enough. And the media sucks. CNN, MSNBC are barely even left. They're just bad. Like, they're just bad media organizations. They don't even report well. If they are biased, they're doing a bad job. They're doing a really terrible job if they are biased. Like, Fox News is a well-oiled, purposeful propaganda machine. It's hard to break that. Social media consumes everyone's brains. How do we break it? I don't know. People might just have to be smacked in the face by reality before they understand it. But yeah, I want to give you the final word if you have a final question or anything like that.
Oh no, nothing. I'm pretty satisfied with everything you said. I appreciate I don't want to live in an echo chamber because, like I said, I'm pretty conservative, and on the face of everything that was said, it's like, yeah, those are great ideas, and now that I'm seeing it, it's like, what the fuck is all of this? This isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I thought was going to happen. Now it's I'm leaning more centric to the left because it's like, well,
the liberals weren't kidding. They weren't being hyperbolic when they say he like loves Hitler and stuff, or he was like a fascist to the core.
Because like I did study Hitler like every other fifth grader should have. It's stupid, and it's like this is the playbook.
Yeah, and like the Mussolini. If you read the Doctrine of Fascism that Mussolini wrote, it reads a lot like Project 2025. The Doctrine of Fascism. It used a lot of like vague rhetoric that seems like something Bernie would say. It always seems like something a populist, like working class supporting politician would say, but they don't mean it. It's always about serving the nation. Or they say that Trump is God now. They're saying if you defy Trump, you defy God, which is completely against the teachings of Christ.
Sorry, I answer to God. I don't answer to any man.
Yeah, no, but the woman that they want federally funded like churches and stuff, and they're saying if you go against Trump's agenda, you're walking against God. It's like they want a monarchy. It's not even a dictatorship. Yeah. It's a monarchy. It's a very different form. It's a modern techno. It really is 1800s style authoritarianism. And they keep talking about the Gilded Age and Andrew Jackson, 1800s. Like, it really is 1800s style. It's not even early 1900s, early 1900s. It really is, or even late 1900s with Putin in Russia. Similar to like a mix between Hungary and like 1800s imperialist. He brings up Manifest Destiny. Oh my goodness! And like my final thing, I'm a liberal progressive guy, but like right now, I'm the person asking people to have personal responsibility and to care about patriotism over nationalism. Patriotism and nationalism are very different. Being a patriotism, right. Caring about the Constitution. Now I'm the person standing up for all of these different things that conservatives, like the Trumpists and everything, the things they claim to care about. Even the Bible, they just ignore it now. Like they just ignore basic parts of the Bible. Like,
and it's weird to hear that come. Everything you're saying, but it feels like I've just been lied to because it's. You're saying the same things, but like let's not try to be a king, please.
Yeah, man, it's getting bad. I thought they were gonna pull funding from Ukraine. I did not think they were gonna actively help Russia. That's a doozy.
And yeah, so it's going to your point, while the land to the executive branch can just do whatever the fuck they want because that's what America voted for, quote unquote. And it's like, no.
Oh yeah, America voted for this. America voted for this. It's like, even if they did, you won your popular vote by a percent point, one of the smallest victories ever. And also, no one ever really believed. No, like what they're saying right now, no one ever believed. They did not say Barack Obama winning by historic margins. against McCain and Romney allowed him to literally bypass checks and balances, bro. Like, they do not believe that. They're it's a cultural level gaslighting. They're trying to get people to believe in this because they want their dictator. The Project 2025, they literally said in Project 2025, 90% of the executive orders have followed the Project 2025 100-day plan. And Trump lied to the media, and CNN and MSNBC just like took it as well. Like, it's not like they rejected it. But we knew he was a part of it, and Trump's like, I don't even know who they are. They're great people, and they're going to be appointed to key positions in my administration, but I never heard of them before. Ooh.
You're just saying you're just not saying the quiet part out loud. You're just doing exactly what you said you're not doing. It's like, huh.
Well, the person asked me, like, do you think the White House just lied then? Like, why would the White House lie about saying $2 billion of condoms to Gaza? And like, do you think they lied? I'm like, yeah, they lied. I'm sorry. I don't mean to like hurt you, but like, they lied. They're lying about this. You can like, they're asking you to deny what your eyes are seeing. This is 1984 shit. Like the Gulf of America thing. They're blocking AP News out from the Oval Office over the Gulf of America because AP News reports globally, and it's still the Gulf of Mexico everywhere else except this crazy country. They're blocking them out. That's 1984 Orwellian shit. And if they're gonna like say these are the editorial standards, then what else are like they can block anyone for anything from the Oval Office at that point. They can restrict press credentials for anything if they're going to restrict it over something like that. And if they imagine if Joe Biden blocked someone from the White House for not using the right pronouns, they'd have a literal meltdown. They'd be storming the Capitol every day. And now we're in a place where if there are journalists in the White House, they're going to be so scared to be blocked out that they're not going to ask any hard questions. We're essentially having like state-run media right now in America. This is essentially state-run media as much as we've ever had it. It's wild.
Yeah. You can't do it by directly controlling the media, but if they're not allowed to ask any questions, and the only questions they're allowed to ask make you look good, that sounds a lot like
that's how Hungary did it.
The Chinese Communist Party.
Well, Hungary, because they're still somewhat free, but what they do is they pick high-profile cases, they target them politically, and they create the freezing effect on everyone else. So when they're suing. They're bringing a case to the governor of New York, and Letitia Johnson or whatever her name was, or James, I forget her name, but the person who tried Trump, their AG or something like that.
Letitia Jackson. Yeah.
Letitia Jackson. Yeah. They're bringing cases to her. They're suing the pollster from Iowa. They're suing random media companies. You know, Jeff Bezos is censoring the Washington Post if they say negative things about Trump. Like, yeah, the chilling effect is insane. So they don't need to kill everyone. They just got to kill one person, and then you're scared. Like, I don't want to, like, once, because Trump tried shooting protesters in 2020, and the people in the deep state bureaucrats told him no. And now, if they listen, that's going to be a very, very, very sad day in America. And I feel like it's impossible to avoid. I feel like it's guaranteed. There's going to be mass violence in this country sometime in the next 2 years, and we don't know how big or when, but it's going to be here, and it's going to be really sad. Just like the Kent State shootings, or massacre during the Vietnam protests, we're going to see one of the biggest atrocities when it comes to like free speech and gunning down protesters, probably. And it's scary to even know that. And I hope we don't. I hope I'm wrong. I'll be so happy if I'm wrong. But also, if it does happen, that's why I do this channel. I'm doing this channel because we need the American people to react accordingly when it does freaking happen. And we cannot wait. If we're scared now to message, we will be in a situation where it is dangerous to do politics. If we do not rise up now by 2026 and create a huge shift in American politics, we will be in an authoritarian government that we cannot recover from. And everyone's already having the chilling effect. Everyone's already
take a
scared
violent
to stand
revolution
up.
to recover from it.
Yep, or we just might never. We'll just always live in a China-like country, and then all the authoritarian countries will try to barrel through the free ones like Canada and stuff. That's why Trump only attacks free countries. So we need to stand up now as strong as possible. The lesson historically we learned, there is no appeasing this. And I still see liberals doing it. I still see countries doing this. There is no appeasing these people. They are irrational. They want power. They just want power. They're going to get it. They're going to go for it regardless. Hitler could not stop himself. They're addicts to power. And we need to stop them as soon as possible. That's why I do this now, because if we don't do it, it's going to come for you. It's going to come for all of you in chat. It's going to come for everyone, even if they don't pay attention to politics. We have to get everyone activated for when the shit goes down. But thank you for calling in. Good place to end the night on. Always a good motivational speech. I hope you stick around the channel. If you have Discord as well,
Will do.
I'll be in Discord, everyone. If anyone wants to chat, well, no one's in Discord right now. But if anyone wants to chat in Discord for like a half hour, I'll hop in Discord. There's an invite link under all my videos. And also I drop it in my streams. Thank you guys for watching the stream. Thank you for calling in. I hope to see you on the channel.
Absolutely.
I hope you have a great night, man. They're not irrational. They're common sense. Elliptic cryptography. That's a no. You're a bot. You're a bot. They are not irrational. They're common sense. You know, that's what someone says that has no rationality. If you need to explain that you have common sense, or if you need to convince people that you have common sense. My OBS shut off for a second. If you need to explain you have common sense or convince me that you have common sense, if you need to have like branding around your common sense and make it really just like grand, like I have so much common sense, bro. You probably don't have common sense. Because you just prove you have common sense through the shit you do and through the shit you advocate for. Someone with common sense doesn't say common sense over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. That person proves they have common sense. They prove they have competency. They prove they understand the issues ahead of them. I have the greatest common sense, bro. What happened to the polls? I don't know, Kate. Well, there's... Oh, crap. I forgot to do them today. Anyways, the stream is concluding. Sprig is in the community hangout. Who else is going to join? We're going to cut off at 3 a.m. today. Latest. Happy Valentine's Day. Also, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. I'll have to start the polls again. Thank you, channel members. Thank you, mods. Sir, your common sense is so amazing, bro. Bro, I have the best common sense. The doctor told me I have like the best common sense of all time, bro. For real. Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Kyle. I'm at work. You come in. By a light. I think the stream is pretty good tonight. I did not do a halftime like usual. We had a pretty consistent... I think we had 50 viewers on the regular stream. That's really good. 50 viewers on the regular stream is really, really good, especially without me doing halftime. Because usually if I do halftime, I shut down the short stream and we go up to 50. But with both streams on, the short stream was on, or the regular stream was on 50. That's really good numbers. Thank you guys. Really appreciate that. So 50 viewers consistently on the horizontal, and then over 500 or 600 consistently on the shorts for how many hours? For 3 hours straight. Without doing any breaks or anything or restarting the stream. This is a really good stream night. Good conversations. Yeah, 600. Yeah. Good night, good night, good night. High common sense quotient. I feel like I handled the conversations pretty well. I'm doing what I can. I cursed a little bit today by accident. I don't want to say the F word. I really don't, but it just comes out sometimes. I just get too frustrated. You are growing. I'm sure, actually, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure Hitler said the common sense thing a lot, like unironically. Like, this is just common sense. Don't ask any questions. Is anyone here for Barbara? So Barbara Newman. Barbara's going through commenting on all of my YouTube shorts right now. Barbara said 59 seconds ago, maybe the universe is trying to speak to you, dude. And then Barbara said, just checking in. Keep up the good work. 22 seconds ago. Oh my God. Barbara's a Taylor Swift fan. Barbara's YouTube channel is really nice. We stand Barbara. Barbara's our favorite caller. Speed recovery. Look at all the fans. I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate the community. Barbara was getting me going. Not that. She's like, you know, when Barbara's talking about the connection, like, yeah, thank you guys for noticing me in this cold world. Credit card debt all-time high under Biden, under Trump too. Honey horse. Thank you for $10, Alex. Again. Robert, the Doge Treasury Court docs. If Robert's here, go put that in Discord. Rhetoric is getting better? Thanks. Which rhetoric got better? Just like... I feel like I was just more of an a-hole tonight. I feel like I was just more... I definitely was less, I guess you could say, I didn't let them move around as much, if that's what you're saying. I tried to pin them down really hard, if that's what you mean. Is that what you mean, Adam? I feel like I was much more aggressive in that. You definitely got triggered a lot. See, that's the issue with conservatives. They think I got triggered because they don't know how to be assertive. They don't know how to be, like, mentally stable. So they see me arguing confidently and they think I'm triggered, because when they argue confidently they look like dumbasses and they think dumbass talk is good. That's better, stronger. You were mocking and mimicking? Yeah, that's part of the fun, dumbass. Of course I'm gonna make sure they know they're like, dude, I proved them completely wrong. Okay, they go back to the dumb talking point. Of course I'm gonna make fun of them. They're being dumb, they're clowns. Like, how am I going to go to a circus if I don't participate in the clownery? Or whatever. Don't let them run. That's better, stronger. I got a meme a little bit, bro. Dancing was fun. Just, like, moving around like, wow, this guy's a like, as he's talking. I want to give, like, emotes to the chat to let you know how I'm feeling as he's talking. Because as the colors are talking, I want you to know if I'm happy or not. So if I'm like this, that's how you know I really cornered someone. Make them defend themselves. The responsibility talk. Yeah. You need some personal responsibility. Make them defend it. Yeah, that one guy was being super slimy. Extremely slimy. And then he cried about the ad hominem attack. And I shut that down by mocking him. I'm like, hey, me. Okay, respond to my point, dumbass. You know what I mean? Go right back to the respond to my point, dumbass. Okay, you want to be a kid? Stop being a kid. Let's talk like a grow up. Like do your own shit. Have some respect for yourself, bro. You look stupid. Don't look stupid in public. GG. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. It's okay to be triggered, by the way. The idea that showing emotion is a weak thing is just like, it's meant to disengage you dumbasses. Because they don't want you dumbasses to care about anything enough to actually rise up and do shit about it. They want you to be little subservient babies. They use that language of triggered so you don't show any emotion or care or motivation to do shit. They want you sitting on your phones just like commenting, live, instead of having a functional brain. You should get triggered. And you shouldn't feel bad about it. You're a little pathetic, weak, insecure, wannabe masculine man that's just scared to do shit. You're triggered. Yeah, sorry I care about shit that affects people. I bet you get triggered about fucking football. I cursed again. No! You deduct one life. Okay. Yeah, it's better to be apathetic and destroy the Constitution. It's like during Nazi Germany, like, bro, you're so triggered about the camps, bro. You're so triggered, bro. Yeah, but I made that guy, my final thing for tonight, I made that guy answer the question I wanted him to answer, so that's definitely really good. I made him answer the question about he does not care about law in America, so he pinned him down on that. Alright, good stream, good stream. Yeah, Connor, get Oxy. Don't get triggered, get Oxy. Oh, I love Oxy, dude. He's a cute color, too. He's a cute color. Hey, you guys are, if I ever got big, you can see my development stage right now. I'm developing. I think I'm a good speech giver in person. I wish I could do that more. I feel like I'm too scared to now. Thank you for all the support. Oxy. Get perked up. Oh, wait. Kyle got a gifted membership? Welcome, Kyle. Who gifted? Oh, was it Suri? Or who else gifted memberships? No, that random person did. That I never saw before. I'm happy that one conservative guy called in. That was a good conversation. I'm happy to hear Connor became a member. Red Scare donated 5 memberships. I'm happy to hear it's good to talk to a conservative that's saying like, oh, I did not mean this. But that might have just been like, yeah. Having someone admit and be fine with it, be secure, being like, yeah, I thought it was gonna be different. I want it to be more efficient, but like this is crazy. I want like that's really good. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. It's awesome. It's awesome to hear. Great to hear. We love that. Really helps our future prospects in our brains. They are out there. They do exist. They do exist. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you. I'll be traveling. I'll be traveling Saturday night and Sunday night. So I'm gonna stream tomorrow night and then take 2 nights off and come back on Monday. But I will be traveling. Trying to talk again. Yeah. He doesn't care about judgment. That's good. Yeah, no stream Saturday, no stream Sunday. Then I'll be back on Monday night. So I'll stream tomorrow night, 2 days off Monday. Yeah, that works. Saturdays are usually pretty good for me, though. It's sad I won't be around Saturday, but things happen on Saturdays, sadly. But Saturday is usually great for me, bro. I got some travel coming up. It's really upsetting. I might need to throw in some day streams if I have free time. I might do some more day streams. I think I have off work Monday, actually. So if I can get free earlier, take your passport. Oh God, that is scary, bro. Oh God, dude, don't say that. All right, see you guys. I'm in Discord for a little bit. If you guys are in Discord, going in Discord for a minute. Good night, guys. Thank you. Thank you. I gotta get on Lib and Learn, bro. All right.